have certainly failed to avoid a situation of some sort. Indeed, you've chosen to go one of the paths that is less traveled, which is nice. I mean, you found one well enough. And it just so happens, as you sort of walk here, again trying to cover yourselves in your cloaks, that sort of by themselves magically meld you in a little bit with the surroundings, that you pass a rather tall statue. It is made of a woman with spider legs from her back sort of curling around her. And before it has an altar darkened with what is probably dried blood. You can see tiny spiders crawling all over the statue, webs sort of covering the ruined house behind it, as it stands here just watching the street.
Well, we should do what we've been told and outwardly pay our respects, I think.
Kneel before the statue.
Or whatever is, appropriate. I don't actually know. I've never personally in real life prayed to a statue.
What made the was prostrate yourself before the statue and pray.
Yes.
I mean, we have moved through the city for a while. Have we seen other people pay tribute to these statues? Do we have something to compare with?
You have managed to avoid them so far. Grin will say that the Queen of Spiders is powerful here. Her priesthood are the ultimate authority on everything. And these statues are enchanted so that disrespect will be punished.
Okay.
Like, we've basically been told that, like, unless you were a priestess yourself, if you don't bow before one of these, you'll get...
Oh, it's a bow specifically.
Well,
Cow more like.
Yeah.
Cower.
Throw yourself in the dust before Lolf.
Oh, wow. I don't know.
I mean, I'd
Thorn doesn't want to get murdered by a statue, so he is no.
Grin will note that this is another thing that the Archmagi of the city that grate on them to have to throw themselves in the dust.
I can imagine.
It was also brought up last time, Jonas, the fact that the Archmagi were really upset because even the lowest level acolyte of Lolf, even for an Archmage.
Yeah. Cirilla will
No, the Archmagi, they don't like,
Huh?
I played one myself. I know how incredibly cool
Raz wouldn't appreciate a acolyte of me first saying to him to bow for a statue, throw himself in the dust.
Or if Asterius try that on him, that would have been fun.
I did consider at one point seeing if overwhelming presence would work on you.
Prostrate yourself. Yeah. I mean, Grin will certainly lay down in front of it.
Yeah, Cirilla will. She'd rather do that than be, obliterated.
All right. Does she feel anything about prostrating in front of the...
She's not seeing it so much as prostrating before it. She's seeing it more of she doesn't want to get killed, and she's avoiding the thing that could kill her.
I'm just hoping that these things don't actually peer into your soul to see that you're really prostrating, because then nothing we do here is going to matter. But,
Let's just hope that it's very superficial.
I mean, I would argue for Drow, though, fear of being annihilated is a form of respect for the...
I mean, yeah, sure.
It very much is.
And Drow are very much a lot
you don't
of
have to
appearances.
love Lolf. I mean,
You just have to respect her.
Really?
Roland will do a fearful kneeling before the statue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Luckily, Roland's not been... Well, he has some religious things going, but he's not like a Cirilla who's, the full cleric.
Sure.
Cirilla will push Riordan down into the dirt. Yeah. Little shit.
I suppose, does anyone not?
No.
You see the The statue's sort of stony eyes, just palely watching with no reaction. Little spiders sort of crawling all over them.
Nice.
Everywhere, even on the ground around you, just as small as a fingernail, covering everything. They seem to leave you be as you prostrate for a good minute before moving on.
All right.
Your sacrifice of dignity probably accepted.
Gee, thanks.
That's what they're for. They're here to, at least Grin will say, they're here to make sure people know their place, and they never forget who rules over them.
For the time being, anyways.
Yes, but you can try to move again if you so wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we want to try and get to that place.
On the way, though, she should begin to consider going there. Grin will also sort of. He's been a little quiet, as you've noticed, probably. She should have been walking. So, I'm beginning to think I can understand what my master sees in you all.
I'm not sure that's a compliment or insult.
Well, a compliment, I would say. Now that we're going to potentially involve ourselves more with, well, whatever we're going into, I feel as if it would be foolish of me not to mention some things about him, if you are not aware, of course.
How about you assume that we are, in fact, not aware of much?
Very well, then. Well, for the first, it is assumed here that he died many years ago. As such, mentioning his name would be met with skepticism, or by those who would believe it, well, it would probably be news to them. He would not have many friends. He is, after all, associated with the conspiracy going against the Church of Lolth. He sort of says that in a very sort of whispered voice, even though most creatures here wouldn't understand the language.
So that's good to know, but
He has always hated the city for what they did to him. His house was destroyed years ago. Wiped out entirely, everyone except for him. At least, that's what I know of the incident. He has not spoken much of it. I'm bringing this to you because I think, well, I can't be entirely sure before I see the grimoire, but I believe he might have misled you slightly about some parts of the ritual.
I mean, he obviously has. That's not exactly something new.
What more
Grin
precisely?
sort of breathes out like, good, I did not know if you were aware.
Liam looks at him and says, being aware of your master's treachery is one thing, but what is it more precisely about the ritual?
He sort of squirms a little bit under Liam's gazes. The ritual is, he described it as attempting to reverse the previous one, summoning the demons here.
But it's just the same one again, isn't it?
He said, no, not exactly. This one has nothing to do with bringing them anywhere except physically to one location. It does not bring them from one plane to another.
Well,
otherwise, the ones that have already been sent back would be returned here.
It's still the same thing. I think the primary purpose of this ritual is not necessarily to defeat the demons, but just to have them wreck the city, which honestly I can appreciate.
Liam looks over and says, well, if there's any indication what will happen, based on what has happened before, when these entities have met, they will most likely, yes, rampage through the city trying to destroy each other.
Yes, but my point is that we should focus on dealing with the demons and not on the city.
I agree.
As such, I don't believe there is any connection between this ritual and the last. I don't believe that there should be a reason that the ritual must be performed so that the demons appear here.
I can think of several thousand reasons.
A better place could be found where the demons might be fought without, well, all the wrath of the city going down upon everyone in the area. I believe the plan is that you will face whichever demon lord is left. That will be much more difficult if...
Where else is big enough to contain this, though?
Liam shrugs. Oh, I don't know. If the demon lords do come here, then the city will no doubt try to contend with them, and a few hundred Lolth priestesses and magi flinging spells at them to try to destroy them seems like a good idea. I doubt they will let them destroy the city.
You, I think, overestimate their level of organization. I'm sure the main houses will do so, but everyone else will see it as an opportunity for, well, their own plotting and scheming to come to fruition. Chaos has a way with this city.
Liam nods and is like, yes.
It would mean the death of thousands.
I don't think you realize what quite horrific things your kind has done to the people on the surface.
Liam nods slowly and says, it is difficult to find too much sympathy.
And I'm a cleric of life.
Yes, and you've had many situations where you truly shown what that means.
Sorry, yeah.
If we can destroy demon lords and the city in the process, it's not a bad deal.
Francis, is that how you all feel?
As much as I initially, when I thought about the plan, realized that this was mostly a plot for your master to get revenge on the city, I was fairly okay with it. However, thinking about it, you do raise a good point. There might be many, many, many terrible people in this city. Most of them drow, undoubtedly, and other types. Liam has made plenty sure to make sure that I know how he feels about orcs, for example. On the other hand, we are potentially condemning those who might be less deserving.
Can I ask the question? Though, Grin. Where would you propose we do this? I'm not aware of anywhere that is expansive enough to hold several demon lords in one area where they can have a pitched battle for the Mensa Branson.
I would suggest anywhere else, really. Here, there are few allies to be had, but say, you have friends many places. I'm sure some of them would have ideas for where such a place could be that would be more advantageous to you.
Advantageous,
yes, but that would all be on the surface, and that would be risking.
I don't. No.
We can find
and says, I don't see. This is not advantageous to us to move the ritual. It's the other way around. How is it advantageous for us to fight them in a cave somewhere without any backup whatsoever? Here, the chaos of the city and the destruction and whatever else the houses throw at them will greatly help us battling them. Out there,
they will also battle you.
Liam shrugs.
I believe this ritual is intended to
No.
kill you as part of it.
DM shrugs. It will do that anyway. In that
I
case,
might
if it's part of it.
suggest, if I could be so bold, my master's tower itself is in a cave expansive enough to fit the lords. It has through a large amount of defenses as well that would likely be triggered by their appearance. I would find such a thing. Perhaps there would be a certain irony.
DM slowly shakes his head again. No, I don't buy it. I'm sorry. If there are demon lords rampaging through the city, the houses will not care about us or anything else. It will care about them. It is literal giants of destruction rampaging through the city. Nothing else would matter than that. It's an existential threat to everything here. We are not. The houses would ignore us. I don't see why they would bother. And furthermore, if the ritual is designed to kill us, it will do so anyway, whatever we perform it. Unless you propose to change it somehow.
You know, it's just once, if I'm the one to carry the grimoire, I believe I could study it. The heart is what was truly difficult to create to begin with, but that is done. It might be possible that I could change some things.
How come you're suggesting these things, if I may be so confrontational in a sense? You're suggesting bringing the fight to your master's tower instead and having him most likely die in the process as well. I don't quite get the relationship between the two of you.
I suppose I would ask you if you have a father yourself, a figure who has raised you and helped you grow up.
He's your father.
No, not by blood, of course, but I was banished from the academy here and had no place to go before he took me in. That said, I will assume that at least some of you do. If your father said wise things, the world would be saved, but that in the process he would take his revenge on the only place you ever truly knew as home. Whatever city you're from, I suppose. Would you not have a problem with such an action? Yes, the city certainly has many foes. I was banished from it, and yet I do not believe that should condemn the whole thing to destruction.
I've never quite understood the concept of revenge, I have to admit. It's a bit short-sighted, all things considered. And it doesn't fix anything.
It can be unleashed. I'm quite sure if this ritual could be placed in some place outside, perhaps I could speak to people here, the spider magi, others. They would surely see the benefit of it. It was always difficult to find allies because the ritual would destroy the city, but if we could change that.
So we still need this grimoire, however, either way, correct?
Yes, of course.
Then I suppose we still have time to decide.
And yet it'll be so much easier to obtain if we can find aid. I do not know how we're supposed to do it without it.
Then let's find the aid. Shrugs. Need to get it anyway.
We've got.
I don't. Whatever we believe or whatever we want to do, we still need it.
Very well. I do hope you will consider it at least.
Liam has a face. Set in stone. He does not seem to want to consider anything from this sniveling lackey. For some reason thinks he can cast a ritual on the level of an Archmage. We haven't seen him cast any spells, really, have we?
No, he's been very conservative with them.
Yeah.
Which is a hallmark of a well-prepared wizard.
Or one who is faking.
Wait,
Listen,
what would he gain though if? Like,
why
his
would
master-
anyone fake to be a wizard, Liam?
Like,
Yeah, I guess. Why?
what would he gain from faking, or his master gain from faking?
Well, if the thing as I see it is if the master, like if he is betraying his master, then you know that there are many reasons for it. Maybe he wants to kill him. Maybe he wants something else. Maybe he's in league with the Loth priests. We don't know. If he gets the Grimoire, he might teleport away and just laugh at us.
But then that doesn't explain.
He might be swayed by the demon lord of betrayal.
The things he said, however, so far align perfectly with the things we've already have assumed about this Archmage. That
which is why it's so easy to believe. That's the thing.
I think you're being very
we're
suspicious.
We are dealing with a demon lord of deceit and lies that has actively moved against us now. Yes. This, like, yeah, no. I don't trust this guy at all.
I think, how many demon lords are left? Act 4?
Something like that. Demogorgon, Orcus, the Prince of Lies, and
the Beast of Butchery, I think, is still on the plane.
yeah, maybe. I think Yanogu is still like in the
Because we banished one during the Maze Engines episode.
Yeah, and we've killed 2 others.
Could leave. That means we have Orcus, the Demigorgon, this one, which is the Beast of Butchery, and the Liar, Betrayer.
Yeah. And we have officially gotten a warning from the liar/betrayer that he's moving against us now. So any suggestion coming from sources that is not old acquaintances seems highly dangerous and suspicious to me.
As I've noted in chat, though, that our most likely outcome here is going to be, of course, Orcus and the Demigorgon are going to be our, like, the big things to fight in the end. Though we've left them uncontested this entire time; they're at full strength.
I think Orcus is also at full strength, more or
Yeah,
less.
both Orcus and Demigorgon, we've touched neither of them. No one's interrupted them. They're just grown.
Yep.
All the rest of them, at least we've punched in the face at least once.
Well, we've got a lead on an ally. I say we try and pursue it. See what could come of it.
We can certainly try.
Because we're going to need help considering how close the Temple of Spiders is to the lab.
You mean literally next to each other?
Yep, I feel like it's going to be pretty well guarded.
Also, given there's a barracks for the drow nobility right next to.
Yep. So, allies we will need, I think. Did that failed stealth check mean we didn't get into the area, Manaka?
Statue. Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to avoid things, but yeah, you can do something. Want to try to move? Let's see if you can do so without getting attention.
Quick stop at the bazaar.
Try to move into the bazaar, gathering attention.
Covered in gore, carrying around 2 badges, surely we will get attention.
Let's just head straight to the allies, please. We have to go back towards the bazaar later anyway.
Yeah, we'll definitely go there at some point.
So can we go towards our allies right now?
Yeah,
Maybe
I'd say so.
We're still covered in gore, Manako.
Yep. Means disadvantage.
I would to propose. I would like to propose something here.
To wash up.
At least my. I would like, because of course we have advantage and disadvantage being stacked back both ways right now. But could I get rid of the disadvantage on myself by using disguise self to cover up the blood?
It's a spell, so yes, that would do it.
It lasts only 1 hour, so only be one movement, but you know. Would negate it for that, I imagine.
That would do it. You can magically cover yourself up, then yeah. You wouldn't look like a bloody mess.
Very well. I do that then for this movement.
Okay.
I mean, I'll use some like water from my water flasks, water skins, just clean off the blood and gore.
I mean, you could try to walk to the side and try to clean up.
I don't think it's finding enough time to do that would be the question then of washing it all off.
There would be a role to try to be unnoticed while washing a bunch of blood off you.
It's better than walking around with a bunch of blood on me.
Well, it depends on who finds you, but certainly it is getting rid of a problem that is a continual problem, or continuing with it.
So, of course, once we find a place to rest for the night, of course we could just we can completely wash off, but that's not easy to do right now.
Well, but we have disadvantage on all checks until we find that place. So
Yeah,
we just take one roll now and get rid of it, and then we can go our merry way.
Well, it's one roll with disadvantage on it.
Yeah.
Versus
one instead
enough.
of, I don't know, 10 or whatever we're going to get rest of the day.
Well, we've only got to move one area.
Okay,
Right.
Is that guaranteed?
If we make the roll, which will be the same roll as trying to clean ourselves, we get to a place where we could presumably clean.
Presumably.
Instead of doing a roll as the same modifiers and then doing another roll where we could still fail to get to the same place. So it's one bad roll to get there, or one bad roll and a okay roll to get there.
I don't know. It seems the consequences of trying to go there and failing are worse than being at the side of the road scrubbing some armor.
I guess it depends on whatever we encounter. Either side, it could be anything.
I will remind you that certainly here, there are guards looking for those people that slaughtered a bunch of guards.
Well, we're still in a high alert area, so
You're out of the immediate district, but getting captured with a bunch of blood on you is pretty good indicator.
Yeah, we should probably at least try to hide it as best as we can.
Spending an action here to clean up would not be like completely washing it off. You're like getting whatever is most obvious.
Probably good enough.
So that you can sort of, nobody really pays too much attention to anybody because, or too much attention to everybody. But there certainly is a difference between having like blood splatters in your hair and face and then or having some dried blood on the edges of your clothing.
All right, so if we wanted to hide or at least get rid of the obvious things, what do we have to do here, Malachi?
Well, you can easily enough clean up. The difficulty of it is to do so without being noticed. As such, you would try to stealth and try to move to a place where you can sort of quietly wash off and then move on, or do it in such a way that it's not too noticeable what you're doing.
All right.
You would have disadvantage on it because it is washing off a bunch of gore while people are looking for people who've just killed a bunch of people. But you have advantage from the cloaks trying to magically hide you, so...
in that case, essentially then what we're looking for basically, like, the big problem is like getting to a location and then possibly someone just looking down the alleyway we're in and seeing us. That's kind of the big problem we're seeing there.
Yeah, or coming through it.
I was considering because I could use silent image just put part of the like illusionary thing of there's nothing here as long as no one. But it's an option I do have as well. put up a little illusionary thing to say, look, there's no one in this area. It at least helps anyone, stop anyone who's just looking nearby.
That makes sense. Finding a thing. I'd let you get advantage on this since you're stationary. You can just. This is just a wall and not a path at all.
Yeah, silent image. I never consider silent image a good spell when you're moving, but if you're staying in the same place, you're like, yeah. There's a bunch of crates here or whatever.
You could get advantage on it for that from eliminate the disadvantage at least from just the chance then is that somebody might walk through your place. So know that this is an illusion. It's not supposed to be here.
But then, doesn't that mean we're still at the same modifier?
No.
Right.
You would have advantage from the cloaks. No disadvantage.
I'm eliminating the disadvantage, so.
Spend the spell and then you can do that.
Kaboof!
Making a wall, I suppose.
Walls, crates, whatever would be appropriate to make the area look like. No, it's nothing. So everyone start cleaning up. You've got 10 minutes.
All right, let's do it.
I have illusion spells. I might as well use them. For the first time ever.
Fortunately, I'm not proficient in cleaning myself.
Well, you're not proficient in cleaning yourself while being really quiet about it.
Yeah.
Probably 4 successes. 3 at least. 3 successes.
Can't help saying whenever I wash.
21, 17, 17, 24.
Yes, you're good. No one passes through the alleyway. You hear like a couple of feet like walking towards it and then like stopping in front of the illusion and turning around to go the other way. But yes, you can. I'll move this gore from you. As you hang out here, you scrub the worst off. Probably still smell like irony, but
Roller will dismiss the illusionary wall or run out of time on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right then.
Yes. All right then.
I suppose now let's get to our maybe allies.
Sure. You want to move? We'll do another set of these, and see how well you can manage to just slip through alleys and paths too. Where you want to go?
That's 20, 18, 20.
Probably good enough already.
William. 16.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you can make your way. You pass a few people and such, but they don't really pay attention to you. You're close to the big glowing pillar in the center of the city. The big ring sort of slowly moving downwards to indicate what time of day it is.
It's not particularly hot here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it also heats the city. It's warmer closer to this. Like a nice warm breeze almost.
Not like an oven.
No, not exactly. Yeah, you're in this area. Slightly different look from where you just came from. What you see is basically less streets and more just sort of clusters of estates. You see a lot of the places sort of high, tall buildings, and generally good looking. The streets are broad and well lit, and the drow that move here seem to be of of a higher rank than those further down. You see a bunch of nice shops, luxury places. Drow hair salons, that sort of thing. Most of the drow that walk here are in small groups that have like escorts and that sort of thing. See a couple of like ogres like carrying the drow palanquin. Some noble houses are here, and yeah, there's much more room.
So
What a nice place. Almost makes you not want to destroy the city, right?
not really.
Yeah.
We needed shelter.
We were
There is a place that we might be able to find one.
we were directed here by someone who didn't want to outright murder us, which is a good start.
Sure, you can make your way there, just following the road. So there's a little house close by the demon webs, called this tall structure of spider homes. A lovely place, really. If you love demon spiders. The building that you were sort of directed to go to is small. Appear to just be like, I mean, who knows really? Small. It doesn't really have windows. Door, no really insignia, not tall. Just kind of standing here. Perhaps the kind of place you would use for clandestine meetings, even.
It's so clandestine it stands out for how clandestine it is.
It does stand out for being very bare and basic.
It's like sneaky advisor. I don't know about that guy.
Door has got like a big lock that only locks from the inside, If you look at it, just a quiet building. People sort of walking past as you stand there looking.
I suppose. How do you approach clandestine operations? Do you just knock?
Clandestine.
Can always use the. I can always use the bark knock spell, which is your knock.
Or the actual knock spell, which is super loud.
Is it?
Yeah, knock is like a thunder strike.
What?
Also, when you cast a spell, you have to say it loudly and clearly.
Okay.
So you're
Allow
going.
me to enter this locked building where I'm supposed to be. Boom.
Okay, Manica.
Hmm?
Roland has an idea here then.
All right.
So Roland, back in his earlier days of his past, which long ago, which he's not the most fond of, he did kind of get mixed up with the wrong crowds, and he does have thieves' cant. That's the thing he has. He understands the way of doing jargons, codes, secret messaging, and that kind of society.
Hmm.
So Roland's going to tell the other group to wait, and slip off just a little bit. So you can still see him, but he's going to slip off towards it, and essentially try to make himself look innocuous and simply try to have the message quietly said in such a way that he thinks that someone inside might be able to hear, but not
He's gonna make a secret knock.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, sure. He does the secret thieving knock.
For drow miscreants, know of surface miscreant knocks as well.
I mean, Roland kind of did study the Underdark a lot as well, so.
I don't know if thieves' cant is the same, though. Drow has Drow sign language that they use, but of course doesn't really work for doors.
That's how you switch to thieves' cant.
Unless you got peepholes, but they don't. So. Basically, there's no immediate answer. Then, sort of from behind, just not in the building at all, a drow walks towards you. Looks like the kind of sort who would fit in here. Oh, has clearly been watching you a little bit. She
Roland will look.
comes over.
Roland will look over. This kind of casual thing. I'm just like a little bit curious. He's just been trying to act casually, like leaning.
And she basically comes over to the group of you.
Yeah, that's what Roland's hoping he could direct him to. So
And then gives like a slight nod. Says, I was told to bring a group of your... He sort of looks at you. Your particular... I was told to bring you with me, if you would follow, for a meeting. I was told to try to keep it discreet.
Malachi, I want to do something here. For sessions and sessions and sessions, I've collected all the random consumables we've never used.
Mm-hmm.
Among them is a potion of mind reading.
Okay.
Before we go into what might be an obvious trap, I'm considering using it.
Okay.
To at least
yes.
have some warning. But as I'm saying these things, I'm changing my own mind.
Okay.
Whatever. I think this is a good spot to use it.
What if you need it later?
Yeah, I mean potions, right? As far as I'm aware, although you might know that better than I, it functions as the detect faults spell.
It does.
Which lasts a minute, and by default lets me learn the surface faults of a creature undetected, or dig deeper, but they'll know.
Mm-hmm.
Which, quite frankly, surface faults might just be good enough. So while like Roland is talking to our draw guide here, Gash probably has the skill to consume that potion undetected.
It lasts for long enough, like a minute, so you could have done that before wanting to enter the place anyway. That seems like a Geshy thing to do.
Yeah.
The rest of you see Gesh drinking a bottle with some weird liquid in it.
That's Gesh, I don't question it.
Oh, he needs his stuff.
I mean, not so long ago he was like 50, and now he's not. It's confusing times for him.
Sure. So, yeah, you could do that. Mm-hmm.
So what's this guy thinking? Oh man, these guys are fools walking into this obvious trap.
I'll paraphrase because that's easier with surface thoughts. But over this, basically, it begins with a slight surprise at your weird sort of grouping of people. You're not the kind who usually travel together like this. It's almost like you're adventurers or something. But then it grows into a sort of an acceptance and a bit of a, perhaps with a following slight head shake at his own silliness, because of course this is what you look like. Of course you're the ones who are going to a meeting. How could you not? How could you not go to one?
Okay, well that's good. I mean, I'm satisfied.
Sure. As she stands there, waiting for a moment for you to answer him.
I believe Roland was right.
Roland
is standing inside.
Roland has invited him over to the group. So.
Oh well. Hello. Lead the way.
Very well then. And he will. Towards the demon web.
Roland can't change the fact he's instinctively distrustful and doesn't want to speak to this guy.
And past it. Past a big fancy manor house here, fancy drow sort of estate, tall towers and whatnot. behind the demon was where the shadow, sort of a spider web, so overlaid everything from the big pillar's light being reflected through it. Towards what looks like a much smaller place, a what looks, compared to the other estate, like a sad drow estate. One of the towers are broken, and a bunch of stuff is like shattered and stuff. And there's no visible slaves currently working on everything. As you go there, grin with you here. It clearly has thoughts about where you're going, but no real way to express them. As you continue on. Do you do anything as you approach the building?
What sort of building is it?
It looks like a drow noble manor, but one that has clearly seen a lot better days. A lot of it has been broken, and it seems that it's been partially repaired, but still is in a much smaller and sadder state than all the others you've passed.
Okay, and any recognizable insignia we might know from somewhere?
That would be difficult. But take a history roll, and let's see. Because who knows? Maybe. Maybe.
Gash was never a good history student, but okay, two 18s. He's more of a visual learner, and history is very much like books.
Well, you will know that what little he's read about, drow history here. This is particularly on the surface, at least, not a drow insignia that has been seen before by Gash.
Okay, small house on bad times, desperate for disposable assets, maybe.
As you come in through, I mean, you would have known if it was one of the major ones, but the ones that go on slaving raids and whatnot. Those are the service knows about the most. As you move to enter this place. As you move through sort of the main gates, them not really being there is particular. There is no gate in the outer wall of this estate. You sort of go in and almost see this old fortress. It's a ruin. Anything else would be dishonesty. It is, however, also almost as if it's haunted. The ruined look of it giving it sort of a strange semblance of life, as in windows and such that seem to be empty, you sometimes see the flicker of a shadow or a slight flame of light moving past. Clearly people are here, but it is not a lot of them, and not for the size of this massive estate that is certainly once was. There's one building that seems to have been mainly repaired, and it sort of is the main sort of hall in the center of the building. Next to the big doors, there are two braziers with what seems to be just a passive magical flame, sort of a dim light. The drow are sort of fond of them. You've seen them before, these magical flames. They allegedly don't burn, but just shed a passive, dull light that allowed the drow to see in color, which they otherwise would not. The man with you leads you through into the inside of this place, where you see a pillared hall full of broken statuary and sort of shattered statues of what was probably drow, sort of scattered across the ground. from alcoves on the side. The person with you just gives a bow as you enter and then steps away as a single drow leaning against a pillar gives you a smile and letting out the words, well met. He's average height, such, but looks very different from other drow you've seen. The first thing is a roguish grin across his face as he takes you in, with his single eye, the other one covered by an eye patch. He tips his hat, wide-brimmed and feathery, and places the other hand at the hilt of his scabbard. All in all, this is perhaps the most dashing drow you've ever seen.
Well, considering my companions appear entirely awestruck by your appearance, that may be the one to say hello.
The drow works a slight another smile as drow go. It is not the worst smile, though it does seem to come with some unfortunate intentions just placed in it. This is clearly a man who enjoys shaking things up a bit. In fact, as he bows slightly, not too deeply, you might even recognize the name he uses to present himself. I am Jalax.
Oh no, let's leave.
Master of the Brigand Death. And captain of the guards of this proud house Doordan.
Oh, nice to make your acquaintance. Now, please apologize for my hesitation, but you know what we are, I believe, some of us, and it is strange, to say the least, to have people on our side in these parts. So let me be
I think
frank.
You misunderstand, my nameless friend. But from what I've heard, I'm not exactly on your side in this.
I don't quite follow.
What the hell?
I agree.
It's weird. Oh well. Yeah, he continues this. If you would introduce yourself, perhaps I could address you by name. But as you will not. You see, I have been told that you have threatened my fair city, and I do not appreciate such things.
Oh,
However,
I
I
see.
would give you an option here to explain yourself, because what you promised is something that I could use.
What exactly did we promise?
I imagine to get rid of the demon lords.
Oh, yes, that thing.
Destroy his city that he lives in. So
Have we promised him this? I don't know.
we said one of his people that accosted us earlier and decided not to turn us in. So last session we Boob-Size, our fair life cleric ended up getting accosted by this guy by some guy in an alleyway, who decided not to turn us in, but instead say, "Yeah, I think you should speak to our boss over in this area. He might help you. We're not sure." We kind of said, like, on one hand, we want to destroy the demon lords, which is kind of positive, On the other hand, we want to destroy the city, which is a problem.
Yes.
It was a, you tell us what you're actually doing here and make it believable, or we call the guards and you know, there's hell to pay. I think there was actually a priestess
No.
while we were talking to
The
her.
priest walking around, yes. But
Yeah, so it was a do this or I shout sort of deal.
Seems like he's doing the same thing now.
He's
So
drowned, what do you expect? Really?
I think we're getting off on the wrong foot here. Things are starting to make suddenly a lot of sense. You do have to understand that you have to be especially careful with people who pretend to be friends for no apparent reason, but your reasoning is thoroughly sound, in fact. My name is Gesh, and I'm here to rid this plane of any demons who do not belong here. And there's many, let me tell you.
Guess you would tell me what demon belong here.
So that is, as far as I'm concerned, none of them, to be honest.
Well, just for you to continue.
Now, we have a plan for this. But first, let's assume that our plan is not enacted. Because what will happen then is that the world, including this place, will be either utterly destroyed, which for the time being seems to be the most likely outcome, considering the demon lords we have not yet gotten rid of. And they are more of the destroy kind, we believe. So, not really a good day for anyone. The other choice is that you help us. That you help us rid the world of demons, and while there might be casualties, there might be destruction, it will in no way whatsoever be comparable to what would happen otherwise. In short, I don't believe that helping us without any reservations whatsoever is realistic, but helping us is the only choice you have to survive the demon.
Shrugs slightly. Seemingly not too concerned, you're saying. It's true, I would prefer the demons to be gone. However, you are not exactly telling me everything I feel. I think you should do so. For your own good.
Liam looks him up and down. Why? You're not telling us everything either.
So, well, what do you want to know, Nameless One?
Yes, let's not be rude, Liam. He invited us to his house, and so far we've held a reasonable discussion. Now, I do have to agree, however, what exactly do you think we should tell you additionally? We can, of course, explain the things we've done so far.
Neatly eluded any part about destroying the city, which my men are rather trustworthy. Now, I have been busy, so maybe there's something I've missed. But it seems to me there's a bit more you should put on the table. Tell me things that will make me not want to help. Then I will decide whether or not I will.
Well, the fact of the matter is, if you don't, the demons will take over the Underdark and you all die. Or live the slaves with them. Which, honestly, given the fact that you're already living as a slave under a spider demon, might not be that different.
And there's also the
that
fact...
earns Liam a slight grin.
There's also the fact that we have to reverse a ritual that was held in this very city, so we don't exactly have much choice on the matter.
Grin steps forward. He sort of looks to Gesh, to this man, and then bows deeply. Says, perhaps I should explain.
I don't know, perhaps you should shut up. I don't know.
But Liam...
Liam looks to Gesh. Are you gonna let this sniveling cretin speak for us, Gush?
Well, on the one hand, it might mean someone who actually has, let's say, a room with a bed in it. On the other hand, you do sort of have a point. But in the end, my goal is to defeat the demons, and anyone who wants to stop me from defeating the demons in any way whatsoever, well, I'll have to deal with them, I suppose, and anyone who doesn't want to support me can just do whatever they like, really. We'll just leave them.
That's, the dashing drow. Well, I guess you can say. Then please, Master Gesh, if you will, explain to me the note at which your plan will destroy my city.
Could you repeat that, Manaka?
Then
what
please,
now?
Master Gesh, would you explain to me the part of your plan that will destroy my city?
Oh, right, the plan. Yeah, I should probably. Basically, the plan is to let the demon princes do most of the work for us, as we hope to make them fight each other. However, any battlefield they will fight in will obviously not fare too well. And since the ritual was done in this city, it means we reverse the ritual, get the demons back here, have them fight, and then destroy whoever's left. So the destruction of the city is not exactly a key point of the plan, but rather an unfortunate side effect that so far we've not found a way to avoid.
Shrug slightly. Says, you understand that I cannot let you do such a thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you were capable, and that does also not explain why you're here.
Here in this city or in this room with you?
In the city, of course. I know quite well why you're here.
I mean, other than the fact that the ritual has to happen here, we are still not quite done collecting all the things we need. And the last thing happens to be in the city. A grimoire of a rather famous archmage, I believe.
Yeah, something dawns on him. She sort of opens his mouth slightly to speak and then quiets down. Interesting. Now, what if I suggested you find a different way to get rid of the demon lords that does not endanger this place?
I would quite genuinely like to find a way that does not endanger anyone. My friend here might think that most drow are... Well, I'm not going to repeat exactly what he said. However, I do think that needless destruction is to be avoided, obviously. But if we were to simply decide that this city is something we cannot damage in any way, that means we have no way whatsoever of fighting the demons, which means the city would eventually fall anyways. This way we have a plan that might damage the city, yes, but it would get rid of the demons. If we did not act, the city would still be destroyed, and we would still have the demons.
How did you come up with this plan?
Well, it would be, on the other hand, sensible for us, I think, to answer your questions. On the other hand, there are people who do assist us at this moment who might not want to get involved.
Well, I suppose I should not ask whether or not they are friends of the city, then.
That would be a question that would lead to more questions.
Well, Master Gesh, you're making a very bad attempt at convincing me not to hinder you in your little mission here. And certainly a worse one at convincing me to help you.
Yeah, I realize as much. Now let's assume for a moment there was a way to avoid damaging the city in its entirety. I'm not entirely sure yet that there is such a way, but assuming that the time we still have left before the demons get either too powerful or properly destroy everything permits finding another way, how exactly could you support us?
Smile slightly. Depends on what you're here to get. But generally, I have a way of getting away with. Now, I prefer to do this without anyone else knowing. Of course, if I were to help you, I would aid you in that regard. I have limits, however. I could get you around the city, at least.
Then how about a more or less temporary line? I can't quite yet promise that we can have any way whatsoever of defeating the demons without endangering the city, but the thing we're here to get might just answer that question.
He shakes his head. No, that is not good. You see, I don't work for promises. I work normally for a large amount of gold.
Well, I'm afraid.
Fresh out of that, the beholder took everything. So.
Yeah.
Ha! Well, I have found beholders to be very generous, actually.
Not this one. Did him huge favors and we still had to pay with everything we had.
Well, expect me to act similarly.
Liam looks at him. Is that a threat?
I can certainly appreciate the honesty, but all in all, the only thing we have to offer is great and grand and slightly unbelievable at times promises that I can promise will eventually come true.
Shrugs. I do believe I am the best option you have here.
Well, so far you're honestly the only option in terms of allies.
And you know what you want to do ideally would be perfect, except for the whole destroying my city part.
Yes, you seem rather fond of it, despite. Well, I don't want to ask about areas that maybe I shouldn't respond to, but this place has seen better days, hasn't it?
He looks around and says, oh, yes, it's quite some time ago it was destroyed, in fact. It will be rebuilt in time.
But not if the demons win, or if Demogorgon rises out of his lake, or Orcus brings his undead hordes here. Then everything is destroyed anyway.
And that is true for wherever you come from, too. As
Who
such, I
knows?
believe you have as much of a stake in this as I do.
That's why we're here, yes.
So if your mission required you to slaughter your cities of surfacers, then you would just do so?
Liam nods slowly and says, yes, if we could only destroy the demons by sacrificing a city, we would. We wouldn't be happy.
And yet, the ritual you're going to do will not destroy the demons, they will destroy each other.
Yes.
And so, that seems to be a small price to sacrifice everything. I do not relish a world ruled by demons, any more than you do, I suppose. I value my freedom as it is.
Then you should help us. Because honestly, I don't see anyone else rising up to the challenge of taking out these demons, or doing anything to do it. In fact, these demons are the result of madness coming from this very city. All of this is the fault of this city.
Yeah. Well, I would not argue it's the fault of this city. It might be the fault of someone who has left it.
Cities rarely take action. It's usually the people inside who do.
Indeed.
And I suspect not all of the people were involved in what inevitably doomed the Underdark and perhaps the entire world.
Aye, well, a Demogorgon appeared right here in this city. I do not believe any citizens of any city would agree to such a proposal, would you?
Probably not. Problem is that most people, and I can fully emphasize, are fairly short-sighted. They would rather have a few years, maybe a decade of additional peace before those demons they delayed come back and finish the work anyways.
You know, yeah. And yet, choosing between destruction now and destruction later. Grin will look to you all. Step forward. I believe there is a way in which we could. The ritual we're speaking of, it is not a reversal of the original one. It could be done anywhere, I believe. We have with us a heart. The heart of darkness. It is to be placed where the demons will be called to.
That's out of character.
Sorry. A little bit.
That's a little bit odd.
From you.
I mean, I can kill him.
He has the thing that we have? What?
No, that's not him speaking, it's our dude speaking.
Oh, good. Now we're gonna have to kill him. Probably.
No.
General Axel.
I mean, killing the Grin will do absolutely nothing to help us in this thing. No, I don't think murder here helping in any single way.
As Grin looks to him and says, I will tell you everything.
Well, we still aren't entirely sure if that's actually true. We have been told by the person who made this artifact here that it is required that it happens in this city. And I have honestly said that the thing we need last, which is the Grimoire of an Archmage, will answer that question. It's still will. It might not work. It might just be a pipe dream.
So looks at you. This friend. A change of heart, it seems.
I did not mean to make any promises that we couldn't keep in the end. Our information so far suggests that it has to happen in the city. If I can avoid having innocents slaughtered and cities destroyed that might not be 100% responsible, as will never be the case in any group of people, I would.
So what he says is true then? No?
No,
At least
we
possibly.
don't.
Possibly,
know.
yes. We don't know.
He is a nobody. We don't know anything about him, except that he has been sent with us to aid us, although he's not doing much of that.
Who made this up?
Why don't you ask your new friend?
We might as well tell him at this point. We just wanted to keep being friends with someone means you try to avoid dragging him into too many things. You surely understand. Discretion.
It's not my friends usually do the opposite.
With friends like those, who needs enemies, right?
You know.
Well, apprentice, how about you? Tell him what you know. At this point, I don't think there's much point for secrets, really. As far as I'm gathering, either he is going to oppose us, which means we will have to fight our way out of here and probably die in the process, or he'll become our ally, in which case you might as well know all the things. Win-win, all things considered.
Granger looks to Gash, to Liam, clearly feeling somewhat of what you would call fear.
Oh, he should. Liam wants to freaking murder him.
He looks to Axel and says, "My master is. His name is Vizerin Devere." At which Jalil raises an eyebrow.
And part of his motivation in this whole artifact ritual business might be to get some revenge on the city, yes?
Gash nods. Jalil looks back. Now, I understand then that you have learned everything you know from him. Yes?
Yes, we have. And it is not entirely unreasonable to suspect that this ritual might be mostly to get revenge against the city. However, he is an archmage and neither of us are, and if his ritual is going to work as he suggests and has to work here, then we can suspect he might not be telling the entire truth, but relying on it would be foolish.
So, I would of course say not to trust him, but I suppose you have heard that many times from almost everyone you speak to.
Trusting has become difficult. I agree that trusting him fully would be foolish, however, so far, he at least seems to be educated.
Do you know that this man is even who he says he is? The man he claims to be is dead a long time ago.
He suggested that he faked his death.
Yeah, so perhaps he nearly faked his new identity.
And if he's not who he says he is, who would he be?
Shrugs. Anyone, I suppose. This city has many enemies. It matters not. What does matter is you have this relic that he created with you. Do you not?
What if we did?
Smiles like this. Then I see a solution. You say you need this book to figure out if you can spare my city. Well, I would hate to send you in there only for you to complete things as they are and destroy it. So why don't I help you get the book, and in return I hold on to this relic for you until you leave the city.
Well, if there's one thing we can be reasonably sure about is that you don't like demons, and this is the key to destroying demons, I think that's actually a rather good suggestion.
It was a slight bow.
Roland looks very uncomfortable again.
No.
Not okay with all
No,
that
not
much.
really okay with, no.
Beyond that, of course, I will take your little friend here and place him in a safe space. I think he has earned that much.
I believe at this point he needs a safe space.
Exactly.
Feels very fishy to me
Yeah,
at
we
this
don't.
point.
We only have the instructions for the ritual itself. We don't like. We don't know. We simply don't know. We can't risk it. We can't risk getting rid of the only thing we have to bring the demons together.
And don't we need Dillweed here to actually, perform the ritual?
Even if we got to the place with the thing, he might just refuse to do it because he knows it can be done in a different spot. So we would have to do it ourselves either way.
Do we know how to do the ritual?
We've not even looked. We haven't seen the tome. It might be simple. It might not be. We have no idea. We don't know where to begin about the book. like on one hand, I don't think this guy would get rid of the heart, but
wait, no, he needs to make a fucking good case, like why this would work in any other place. There is nothing suggesting this whatsoever. It's just him wishful thinking. We have nothing to go on at all.
Well, and I think this can be solved in character telepathically, as is my right. As far as I can see things, understand things, we have two choices. Either we stick to the plan, we keep hold of the heart, bring it to the place, get the book, do the ritual. Demons come, we might win, we might not. The other plan, of course, would be to accept his deal here, gain an ally that can actually be useful, because at this point, Mr. Archmage Buddy has done what he can do and can't really help us too much anymore, I believe. We get the loyalty of his apprentice back, who really doesn't want to see the city destroyed, and I can emphasize with his reasoning. We get the grimoire, while leaving the heart in this guy's hands for now. I don't think he'll do anything bad with it, because he doesn't seem like a demon to me so far. So that probably means he hates demons. And we get the grimoire, and if it then turns out that we can only do it here, then we take the thing back. But at least if it actually works somewhere else, our time in this city will be so much easier because we actually got an inside person who helps us. If we try to keep a hold of the artifact, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a fight here, and then we are not only covered in gore, we'll be covered in gore twice. And not only chased by the guard, but also by at least a medium-sized noble house who will actively try to stop us. That sounds pretty terrible. I think going with this guy is our best choice at this second.
I don't know. Out of character, sure. I mean, it's fine. In character, I don't know. I'm having a hard time motivating this.
Smile slightly.
For Liam.
Or you could leave. You could walk out of here right now, and I would not stop you. At least not in here, of course. But I will have to raise the alarm of the city that someone here tries to, well, do what you're trying to do. And you will understand if I'm not someone who is, would you say, a fan of the high priesthood. I think I can say that much safely. I would rather deal with this myself, to be honest. Being able to solve this problem without involving them would be rather delightful, to speak.
I mean, he has the apprentice shock in the heart and we get out of here. Like, adventure over. If he can solve this himself, what are we doing here?
Well, there still needs to be someone who actually killed the demons.
I mean, he seems to think that he doesn't need us to do anything, so let him do it. I'm getting very annoyed at him trying to force us like this.
Well, he's certainly in a position of strength. I do think, though, if there's any reasonable chance that we can kill the demons without killing any city, then I'd like to take that.
Sure, it is certainly a respectable choice. It is a good, respectable choice. For me, Liam wants to destroy the city if possible. If Menzo Branson could get wiped out, that would be amazing. A major victory for the forces of good all over the world.
Meanwhile, Roland's in this weird place. On one hand, they're Drow. He hates Drow. He hates Drow a lot. But I don't think Roland could reasonably bring himself to, if it's unnecessary, to slaughter tens of thousands of people. I think that's beyond what he'd be willing to do. That's just a scale that he would not be comfortable dealing with people. 1-on-1 is easy to deal with. 2, fine. An entire group, yeah. A city, a lot of people to kill. So I think Roland's on the side of wanting to spare the city.
Like it is like one of the most evil places in the world, though. It is filled with just malevolence. It is the heart of one of the most fanatical and dangerous cults in existence. Destroying it would be like on a on a greater good scale. It would be such a good deed.
It's not like destroying the city would destroy all Drow.
No, but we would show. It's like showing up in hell and taking out Asmodeus.
I don't think it's even that much, really, here.
It's still undeniably a huge win in all people in the surface, including, bearing in mind, people like us who were taken as slaves.
Yeah, remember, like, this is a city. All of this is the city's fault. Like, this complete madness and chaos comes from the city.
Or it comes from one archmage in the city who thought he was too powerful.
Which is bred from their entire culture.
It's like saying the service never has evil archmages.
Well, they haven't had one that have summoned all of the demon lords.
No, but they've done other things.
I think this one kind of takes the pie though.
I can totally see your argument. Undeniably, yes, it'd be good, but it's still slaughtering a lot of creatures. Not all of which are Drow. Most of which are Drow, not all. Which are at an awkward situation right now of, I think both me and Sheba are on one side, you two on the other side. So
I can really swing either way.
I feel like we've been put into a rock and a hard place situation. Either way, we're basically, well, gonna get screwed somehow. It's the nature of men's brands, and after all, somebody's gonna get screwed, and it sure as hell isn't gonna be Loth.
Why does Jarl Axel want to save the city? Can you give us a case why this cesspool should be saved?
I was just about to ask the exact same question.
Yeah, because I don't think this city has done him many favors. Like,
Has it done anybody favors other than Loth, really?
Why do you care about this city?
Thanks a little bit. It has its flaws, it's true. Many of them, I would say. Perhaps more than it has positives. And yet, should I go anyplace else, I will hardly be welcome. The city has a mixture of different creatures and people that are impossible to have anywhere else. Would I prefer for things to be a little less strict and a little more freeing? Of course I would. However, you have to understand that that is simply not the way in which the people here have been brought up. Perhaps that could one day change, but it has not so far.
I
do
can.
not believe that we should destroy that which can be repaired, or improved, or enjoyed at least.
I can
like no,
emphasize.
like what? Tell that to like the screaming like infants that are being dragged down here to sacrifice. Like thousands and thousands of people have died in blood because this place exists. It's like, oh, it's a little bit it's not perfect. It's like no, because the blood of the innocent literally soaks the entire city. It's hell on earth.
Besides, consider this. Demon Lord's rampage, yes, they are undoubtedly defeated by you, as you imagine. And then what? What happens then? Well, we saw what happened last time, eh? More raids for more slaves to repair the city. Many of them will doubtlessly die, as they will not have any safety. New ones will need to be captured. Beyond that, whoever did this, well, revenge will be expected from a gathering of all houses. Whatever happens when the dust settles, it will not be for the good of the surface.
If our involvement is known, then it would be a declaration of war the world has rarely seen.
It is quite so. And now I will tell you this much. The man who did this is not dead. As such, I'm sure you could understand that what is done once could be done again, and I would not see such a thing begun. Imagine only to get rid of these demons for them to reappear on the surface in the middle of Silver City. Can we not at least agree that demons should belong? Only one. The Abyss.
Well, certainly, it not certainly, sort of hinges on Liam at this point.
You strike me as people who... you have the right place. You see this place as your enemy, and you hope to fight two wars at once. I would ask you, fight only one war, the greater war, against demons, and the other war can come later. Can we not fight together in this, and then deal with each other afterwards?
The problem being that the majority of your kind would actively work against us. And it's just that you are rogue enough that you are willing to. This isn't an agreement between your race and our races. It's an agreement between an adventuring party and a group of people.
It's a philosophical issue, all things considered. Do you hate the majority more than you can emphasize with the minority? There are reasonable drow. We've just met one, at least, maybe as much as two at this point. It would be unreasonable to assume that every single drow is exactly what you imagine every single drow to be.
We can't save everyone.
No, but we can avoid.
Clear.
We can avoid killing unnecessary people.
And doom how many future generations? It's like these. There might be good people here, but good people die in war.
Like, on one hand, one of the arguments here is like, well, like if we wipe out the entire city, there'll be no Drow city left. So what's the? But the thing is, it's probably not going to wipe out the city. Probably just going to damage it severely and have to rebuild again. But there'll still be. As we actually wipe out the entire city, they'll still be here in the end. So.
It will be a city. It will be damaged. It'll be hurt. It will be like a wounded animal trying to lash out. It's not exactly a good outcome either. Sure, we on the surface might be known as those people who not only defeated the demons, but also struck a huge blow to the drow slavers or whatever. But in the end, well, it depends on what you consider to be a good thing, I suppose. It's quite rude to discuss the future of the city in front of Jalex, isn't it? It's also quite rude to imply that we might actually have a choice, which we still aren't sure about.
And just to have the privilege to find out if we can or not, we have to bend over.
So what happens if there is no option? What happens if the Grimoire says, no, it has to be here? Will Jarlax then give us the heart back and perform it?
He frowns at that question.
He seems like a reasonable person enough to do exactly that.
I have hoped that that is not the option. If it is, then we will certainly have to reevaluate.
That is not the answer I seek.
Yeah, we can't work with promises, John.
If I promised you, would you believe it?
No.
Well, then I will promise you.
It's a start.
You'll promise us that you'll reevaluate. I
promise to maybe reevaluate.
Fills me with.
And again, remember, we have a demon lord of deception and lies against us. This might all be that.
Yeah. Well, how does
he's
he know that we're
acting
not?
against us, which he probably is, he would be delighted that we reject any possibility of any allies whatsoever. He's winning by just implying that he is acting against us.
I will note that Grast is Demon Lord of Seduction. Demon Lord of Deception is Fraser Blur, and you've never met him, really.
No, but we've had him
where he might be.
Didn't we actually have the half succubus or succubus guy basically say, oh yeah, he'll do something for you if, you know.
Yes, he offered, to remind you, what he offered was basically that you would become, you could ally with the Demon Prince of Seductions, of good offers and of slow corruption, and in return, he would give you a lot of great things.
I thought he was the.
However, if you said no, then sadly he would have to inform Demogorgon that you had a way to destroy him, which would make Demogorgon very mad. You chose not to ally with the Demon Lord of Seducting offers and slow corruption, and rather go against him, in which case you can only assume that Demogorgon has been informed. Unless that was an empty threat.
I also thought that he was the Demon Lord of Deception.
No. The Demon Lord of Deception is Fraser Blue. Deception and illusion. He is the guy who makes people believe things that are not true, and makes things seem mad, and creates weird dreams and fantasies, and like makes you think you had a friend forever who just doesn't exist, but now he's there always for you only, or a group of people. That sort of thing. But perhaps fitting for the Fraser Blue, the Demon Lord of Lies and Deception, you've not met him or really openly seen him do anything anywhere?
It is the witch problem all over again. If everything can be mind control or an illusion, it becomes impossible to do anything.
That Demon Lord isn't even involved.
That we know of, that's the thing.
Oh god.
That's the whole point of it.
No, please, no. Like, he could be involved in any campaign ever. Let's not assume that is the case until we get actually told
he's
that
summoned here, though.
But
like,
yeah, weren't all Demon Lords summoned here?
They were all brought to the Underdark. It's true.
Yeah, so all of the Demon Lords are here, so he is in the Underdark. He is here. It's just that we haven't seen him. We haven't experienced it.
So to make things worse now,
Darendil, his condition would be
Yeah, as far as we are aware, the Demon Lord of Lies and Deception has only done good things so far.
So actually, if I want to throw an extra wrench in this problem, then because he's a Demon Lord, not only deception but illusions as well, right? I see the big issue that okay, we summoned its location. Wouldn't it? Is that demon just going to try stealth?
Yeah, probably.
You do remember that this guy who came from Grast, the Demon Lord of Seduction, did say that he believed one Demon Lord from the library's tellings would survive and stay in the Underdark, and he believed that would be the Demon Lord of Deception.
Which, as I just said, yeah, that would make sense if they could just stealth away from
He
the
wanted
place.
you to sabotage the ritual so that it would be his lord instead, who could then get the other guy.
Yeah, no, I'd rather have more Darendils.
I don't know, for the bucket of ethical problems there.
Should we maybe just have an out-of-character vote so we can get past the ethical bump here?
Sure, though the problem is that 5 players.
Yeah, out-of-character votes work great with odd numbers.
Lucky there too.
I mean, I
like honestly, out of character, I don't care. Pick. Go with Jarl Axel. He's a fun character. I have tons of meta knowledge about Jarl Axel Brigandiers that makes me intrigued and apprehensive at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is the kind of character he is, isn't it?
That's not the problem. The problem is that in character, I have I have big problems with this current setup.
Liam wants to fuck the city.
And
If the entire party, goes with Jarl Axel, then Liam will go along because the overarching goal is to take out the Demon Lords. That takes precedence over everything else. If it's not done, then nothing else matters. So taking them out is the only option. And if the only option to take them out is not to also take out the city, then so be it. Then we'll deal with that, and we'll just have to deal with small children being murdered for the glory of LoL for all eternity.
I mean, the problem is that's going to happen either way because it's unlikely we're going to kill the entire city.
Oh, we can certainly try.
We killed the Demon Lords now, guys. We're surrounded by Trow.
The thought is that probably a
absolutely
couple of 10,000 Drow will also die to Demon Lords.
The point is, like, 10,000 Drow dies the Demon Lords, and the Demon Lords themselves, that still leaves 15,000.
Let's go. There certainly is both death and madness.
Like, we would have to do actual genocide to stop what you're saying.
wouldn't be the first time.
Maybe we can rephrase the question a bit. What choice, and there's basically 2 choices, destroy the city, don't destroy the city, would make for the cooler campaign?
Cooler campaign, destroying
What's
the
more
city.
intriguing? What's more intriguing?
Destroying the city.
Well, there we go.
Because, I mean, what other campaign are you going to be able to fuck the Drow so royally? Probably never going to have the opportunity to kill.
I mean, I can't deny the fact that the more dramatic ending is the one with the Drow city in ruins and us going back as heroes. In multiple ways.
Since this was sort of the...
Menzoberranson coming crashing down on top of a demon war is certainly very epic. Much more epic than a battle in a cave.
True.
But
Since this was basically the default plan, I don't think Valky would have huge objections.
No.
well, the main problem here is like we're now in a position that if we don't do this, is also something I don't like currently. Is that we are being told, "Oh, do this," or if it won't work.
We're just gonna have to kill him. Fuck him.
We can't though. It's Jarl Axel.
No, we can just leave.
He said he will let you leave. But,
Yeah, but then he will go after us with the city guard and like the houses and the priestesses. And then...
Well, he can fucking try. We kill demon lords. We can deal with a few guards, Liam. Believe in yourself.
That's kind of true.
Fate is on our side. We've been chosen. Well, you haven't been, but
Wow. Wow.
You were the people who returned into the Underdark after escaping it as slaves. You are no longer prisoners. You're no longer useless or helpless. You have come here for a single purpose. And if you have any doubts about your purpose, then you need to look inside yourself and realize that you're heroes.
I got a real Braveheart feeling from that sheep. And I loved it.
You know, historically, Scotland is.
Oh no.
Well,
Don't want to go the historically Scotland route.
I mean, ultimately, I believe it is a character decision more than like a out of character decision.
I think character-wise, we're in a deadlock right now.
I mean, that's the problem. In character, we're in a deadlock. I think was the issue in the end. So
it's a hard choice.
I think going for the out of character, what would make the better story might be the best way of doing it then, because we're at a deadlock.
The thing with the way that I see how Cirilla sees it is, when she was on the surface, the majority of what she did was help families that suffered from everything, including drow raids. She's seen what the end result of all of it is, and there's no way that she can that she's going to allow the hurt feelings of some drow come in between saving the world, really. Because I mean, it's, you know, people are going to die. People are going to die no matter what. And she would definitely pick saving the world over drow.
I mean, it's not an argument of do we want to save the world. I think everyone here is pretty confirmed that we want to save the world.
We're all in the Save the World camp.
Yeah, Roland is compelled to save the world. The question is, like, he would Roland would just rather not do genocide and save the world.
Oh, yeah, but then Cirilla can't trust some drow on his word that he's going to do something.
I don't know.
And as a player,
Which I mean, I could definitely go with that angle because in character, I could definitely say that Roland just doesn't trust. Yeah, Roland already has trouble trusting people anyway. It's entirely possible to say that was
watch issue. I assume that at least some of this is in character like discussion.
Yeah.
Little bit. So telepathy does make
I understand if you cannot trust me. So how about we get someone third party?
And who would that be?
Yeah, who would that be?
I have, at times, helped an agent of Surfaces who resides within this city. She is reasonable in most things, and though I am sure she would be more inclined to aid you in this, if we have a promise that she will make a fair ruling based around what this book says, then perhaps we can have her make such a judgment.
Are you referring to the Silvery Moon High Elf Kalazar Draga who was supposed to? That we accepted a mission to find her before we left.
Who? What? I don't remember this.
So Silvery Moon, when we first went up to the servers and kind of got our big contract of the different factions.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to find the person who was supposed to lead the faction, lead the group, the spy network down here.
I mean, probably don't phrase it like, are you referring to Kalazar Draga?
I'm not saying that in character, I'm saying like out of character. Is that who he's referring to? Because that's what it sounds like.
Who's an undercover agent who nobody knows about, disguised as a drow? No?
I said, I'm not
An
saying
elf has broken, I think, most laws of this city at this point. Then again, I would not have it seem like I'm in the habit of helping my surface cousins just for the sake of it. I usually get paid well.
Oh, I bet you do.
So, how about you go fetch her and we'll hear what she has to say, if she is who you say she is.
And you might consider then
Certainly.
delivering this thing to her and have her take it someplace
Sure.
where none of us will know.
We'll consider, at least.
We'll promise to consider it.
Sort of
I
need to
suppose
meet
I will have to take that.
Yeah, sort of need to meet that person. We're gonna give our only way of succeeding.
Very well. You will probably want a room. Some water, maybe?
4 hours of meditation.
Yes, I could ask people to draw you one, but I think my hostess would disapprove of you as guests. I have my own stuff.
That's fair enough.
Gesture for you to follow him. As he will turn around, his multicolored, flashy cape, rainbow cape, will sort of dashingly sort of make a glimmer around him as he walks, swaggering to lead you to a couple of what probably is like barracks rooms, close to the outer hall here. Basically, there's a bunch of tables and stuff as he gestures over for some buckets of water on the side, probably mostly used to like wash the floors and whatnot. Says, that should be clean enough. Just take your time. I will see if I can find our associate. You better come with me. Looking at Grin, the apprentice, who did seem apprehensive to stay here with you alone.
Good.
He should. Fucking traitor.
Yeah, that was not nice.
Dick move. Complete dick move.
Axel will leave you there alone. It was fairly decent size. Got benches, tables. Doesn't look like it's particularly used. Probably in the process of being cleaned up for like repurposing. Giving your characters some time to delightfully discuss everything you've just talked about.
And rest?
Rest. It's the wall multiple times.
You could take a short rest if you want.
Will do so gladly.
Wash it completely.
That's annoying.
Short rest does nothing to help.
Yeah, I mean, short rest means everyone can heal. Because I have my channel. So I'll heal Valky up.
Yeah. Got punched.
Now, before he returns with an agent, I'll need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Do you have hit points left over?
There'd be 110 hit points spent, so yeah.
That's probably enough to heal everyone.
Yeah.
I would hope so. I mean, I'm not taking any from it.
Yeah. Valky took 23, I'm not taking any.
Apparently, welcome to the session of contentious decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, it was quite clear from the start. Oh, how convenient that the ritual to save the world, crafted up by the archmage who hates the city, also coincidentally destroys the city.
Yeah. I mean,
My mind,
It's not what the ritual does. It's just that we had to place it here because this was the origin of the original. It called them here, so like, it made sense in a sort of fantasy setting way that yes, the world works in symbolism and patterns and stuff.
Yeah, it was believable that cause and effect would work that way.
Mm-hmm. And I still that seems perfectly reasonable to me. Magic is symbolism and intention and stuff like that. So
I mean, magic loves this kind of stuff.
yeah, so makes perfect sense to me.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Gaming Dog's with us, so.
I don't know if Gaming Dog's going to help us to make our decision.
You have clearly not been in a campaign where Gaming Dog has been helping.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in campaigns with you.
We need the damn book anyway.
Yeah, we need the book. Either way, But leaving it with an elf makes me a lot more comfortable.
Surface elf, let's specify.
A surface elf. I'm
If
not
it is a
counting
surface
Drow.
elf and not a demon lord of deception and lies and illusions.
Let's not try it.
As again, if we assume everyone is that, we lose the game automatically.
Yeah.
Next session will begin with "You wake up." The
Yeah.
whole campaign so far has been illusion.
I mean,
The
for all I
surface
know,
in a tavern. Oh God.
because by going by the same rule of logic,
Kyron shakes his head. Oh, what a dream.
Strange dream.
I was saying, going by the same logic goes, I was like, okay, I've picked the container the book's in. I've got it. Suddenly a sword goes through my back from Liam.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Manikai told us at the beginning of the campaign.
Like what
Told
I
one
might
of
have been
us.
told there the traitor. But if we think that way, we've lost. So
It was bound to happen. We're in the Underdark.
It's like the characters aren't going mad. Players are.
It's happened before.
Can we please just agree to not go mad for no reason?
But
Let's-
what if there is a
not-
reason?
Let's not assume that everyone is mind controlled, despite having seen no evidence that that could be the case.
Despite the distinct possibility that that might be the thing.
Jimja will step up and say that he bets that someone here isn't even real.
You know,
I'll
I'll
take
take
that
that bet.
All right, put 10 gold on it.
Turns out he's not even
I
real.
would say, like, Jim Job doesn't make bets that he doesn't think he can win. What if Jim Job was not real?
Jim Jar's
No,
not real.
no, Manikai, I meant I agree. So,
Oh.
does anyone want to bet against us?
On the bet?
No.
You know what?
No.
How much gold are we pouring in? 10? Was that? Sure, I'll add 10 gold to the. I'll add 10 gold to the opposing party.
Mm.
No one here will be an illusion. Everyone is real.
I mean, Finger Muncher isn't real, so it's not too far fetched that someone else might not be real. That doesn't mean they don't have feelings and ambition.
I think I'm just glad that Gesh is, at least accepts that he has feelings, though.
Yeah.
Gesh's continued existence forces Finger Muncher to continue, and it's also pointless when the world's going to end anyway, right?
There's also been multiple times now that Gesh has just fed pretty much to a non-existent. Gesh is a very mean master, preferably.
All of that said, after, conveniently an hour, I suppose, someone will enter the room. A very average-looking drow woman carrying leather armor, a drow blade, a hand crossbow. Very general. Would not stand out in a crowd. She sort of moves in looking at you. Hello.
Hello.
Well, you're a strange bunch.
And you are awfully inconspicuous.
Thank you. I do my best.
Now, who are you exactly?
Looks around. Well, I suppose if I cannot trust my host, I would already be dead. She then
But he might be mind controlled, so you should be.
a little closer and ignores Gesh's comment before removing the spell. That is reveal a blonde high elf.
It's never
tall.
well.
She Jesus. I am Kalissa Draga, agent of the Lord's Alliance in this place. Now, If I may ask, who are you all?
We are here to fight demons. And so far I've done so successfully. However, the mysteries of urban politics have proven a great obstacle.
I meant more in the line of, who are you?
She means
Frowns.
names.
I guess she has been away from her organization for a while because it was a pretty big meeting in Gondelgrim.
I mean,
She
there
was
was
there.
She was
yeah,
gone.
I'm going to remind players out of character this though. Like one of the things we were told to come down here because the information, like the spy network that she's part of, broke. Like the connections broke when the Demon Lord came, so she hasn't got any information from this.
Guess we can
Allegedly, the city closed into high alert, which means canceling any illusions upon leaving or entering the city, which would be a problem.
Well, if you want to know our rather mundane names rather than our grand ambitions and actions so far, then I suppose Gash will introduce himself.
Clearly.
What does he introduce himself as?
He'll say, "Hello, my name is Gash." Is that really more helpful than what I just said?
Well, maybe he would mention his brother.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe she would know.
Let's say, like, Gesh enter surname here, and
No, Gash doesn't use his surname.
Then
that's the thing.
maybe she would know because his brother is certainly important.
No surnames for exactly that reason.
No?
that's why he's only
Okay.
known as Gesh. Cyrilla will say, after Gesh will say, and I am Cyrilla Silthenray.
I'll assume that Jordan speaks up and speaks his name.
Why not?
Liam will say that he's Liam, a mercenary out of Gondelgrim, I guess would be the most appropriate
Liam
description.
the lightning.
Liam the Lightning, yeah.
Is that how Liam does actually always introduce himself?
Definitely.
It is the
The
nickname.
lightning of Gondelgrim.
Yeah, it's a nickname he got. He doesn't necessarily use it that much,
Nah,
but
he definitely does.
I am Roland Zealosant.
I cannot help but hear very few words of loyalty in those names. Most of you carry only one. Were you not sent here to do what you do?
we were
And why is loyalty necessary to save the world? Loyalty to the world we live on is sort of implied.
we were sent by a council in Gondelgrim, certainly.
And Cyrilla has a title, and she gave you, and I gave you your name.
Bitch.
Yes, I certainly recognize it.
Then there's my allegiance, except for certain key members of my family. She frowns.
To apologize if you were not the person I would expect our home to send.
Well, perhaps it is not our allegiance or loyalty that convince them that we are the right people, but rather our actions, ambitions, convictions, and all those inch words, you know?
The fact that you're here show that you've been, well, rather successful at getting here, I suppose.
Or lack of.
We have not
volunteers.
only
I
gotten
will
here,
admit that you are the best news I've had in a long time.
Guess
I
she's all
have
fired up.
very few agents still working. Well, by very few I mean me and another still alive. I sort of hoped the Lord's Alliance would send aid sooner.
well, we are the best you're gonna get.
We were told though we could find you at some point.
Perhaps I'm not as big a priority as I thought I would be.
I didn't mean it that we're the only thing you're gonna get. I mean, we're the only thing you need.
Wow. Nice.
Raise an eyebrow? Well, I suppose we should get right to it then, no?
Well, the issue right now is that we need help. we would need people in the city to assist us, if at all possible. Although we could probably scrape by ourselves, however, the risk would obviously be higher that we failed, and we don't want that. You exist, so that's good. And apparently this Jalex person has quite a bit of respect for you.
Sorry, I just love that he just said, "You exist."
Yes, I am very real. And it was the only place I could think of turning to when I could not leave the city.
So, why does he respect you? That sounds ruder than it was meant to be. I'm sorry, but Jalex seems rather infatuated with this city, while you don't have much reason to like it. I would hope.
I do not. I have been here to see how despicable and filthy and disgusting it is.
So
Most of my former comrades have died slaving, beaten to death by orcs or eaten by other slaves. It is horrible, ghastly. The reason that he hates me, I suppose, is that, well, I suppose, just think it is a complex question. In a way, I suppose I cost him very little. And I do think he rather enjoys causing just chaos, uproar. I believe he does not rather like the rulers of the city much, though they are his family. The drow perplex me, though I have much knowledge of how they function and how their society function. He is certainly less drow than any drow I've ever met. I find it hard to trust him, but his actions so far have been none but trustworthy. He could have delivered me to people who would have me killed and tortured, and reward him greatly for the deed. The fact that he's done these things for little gain except my continued existence, I can only assume that he does not want the city to... You see, it's not a question I've really asked him directly. It seemed like that would be pushing my luck. In some strange way, I suppose I might thought that if he thought too much about it, he would decide not to. His company, though, does contain surfacers, and I believe he also does some business on the surface. A lot of travel.
So, purely hypothetical, of course, but if you had a way to destroy a decent part of this city, would you do it?
I have some select places I certainly could see the city doing without. Yes.
And if it was less selective?
I'm not sure what you mean. My main attempt here has been to try to organize some of the slaves so far. Normally I just inform on drow movements and actions, but given that I was stuck here, I have attempted to organize some of them, though it has gone terribly. Most of the things these drow keep as slaves are not... They are not very good at... Well, they betray you at any point for no reason. Shakes her head.
different question then. Do you think you have a way to get a reasonable amount of people you consider you consider innocent to leave the city very quickly if it became necessary and useful?
An uprising, for example.
Uprising and exodus and one of those things.
I could attempt it, though most would be killed as soon as they attempted to leave their assigned positions.
What if there was a very big diversion?
I feel like it would be easier if you simply told me what you're planning, and then I could answer your questions knowing what you're talking about.
You've heard about the demons, yes?
She nods as yes.
Now imagine
I was here.
All of those demons back here.
Frowns as I would rather not, to be honest. It was not a good time last time they went.
All right, let me be a bit more serious here, because quite frankly, this is getting ridiculous to the point where I'm having a hard time keeping a straight face. Our plan is to reverse the ritual that was cast here last time, in a sense, and draw all the demon princes back into one place where they will fight each other, likely destroy some of each other, after which we will enter the fray and defeat the last one standing. As far as we are aware currently, it is likely that it has to happen in this city. And quite frankly, some of us are quite okay with that fact.
She nods slightly.
Now, there are of course concerns that not everyone in this city deserves to be trampled by demons.
She sort of looks around, Well, we certainly seem to be some here that don't. Would it be possible to direct the demons? Make them appear in one place in particular?
I'm not entirely sure. I suppose someone could taunt the demons to lead them somewhere, but that doesn't seem entirely risk-free.
No, I mean, it's up to the nature of the ritual, right? I mean, if we could adjust there's been a lot of suggested changes to this ritual. One has been to exclude a demon lord, one has been to lead him to a tower.
So do you want me to inform you of what you know so far? Would that be helpful to the discussion?
I think so.
If we're missing
originally, the ritual was described as: the demons will appear centered on where the heart is placed. The heart must be placed in Menzoberranzan. Then the book must be taken to your Archmage friend, Visera and Devere, who will then enact the ritual, calling them to the heart. You will fight the demon. Demon lords will fight each other. You'll defeat whoever is weakened and left. Job's done. Everyone's happy. Woo! The city burned in the process. Who cares?
Okay, so we can.
That is the original sort of thing you're told. Then, Blam, Demon Boy, said, hey, one of the Demon Lords of Deception will escape when you do this plan. Now, if I made a change, you could make it so that my Lord escapes instead. He's much nicer, and you don't have to worry about if anyone's an illusion when he's the only one around, just if they have two nice things to promise. You said no. Okay. Move on to now. Grin says, hey, I don't think it actually needs to be placed at Menzoberranzan. You could probably place it anywhere and it would still work. To which you're currently discussing.
Okay, the requirement of Menzoberranzan, I suppose we could put like a certain district of Menzoberranzan if we were to cause chaos in one.
Your Archmage friend said to place it where the grimoire was.
Which is then back to the tower.
To be fair, though,
He would not want anyone to find it.
That is a pretty good place to put it, though.
Destroy Lost Temple is pretty much the first thing.
Yeah.
I think part of the issue is that we don't know if it has to be done by the Archmage and whether he knows where we'll place the heart or all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But
some of those might be cleared up once you have the book.
Yeah, that's also my fault. None of us are really too Archmagey or Educated.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, Gish knows someone who's a pretty good mage.
That's exactly the point I'm trying to
Yes.
make, or avoiding.
Let's. Can I use my divine intervention to bring Gesh's
We
brother
are-
here?
We're pretty good at Arcana. If you look at our stats, we know magic.
It's true.
Decent enough.
Really want Gesh's brother here.
Just-
We're all being trained. So.
Just ask Gesh's horrible void god to eat the demons.
Not a bad plan.
Yeah, come
I
come
don't- I
down.
I don't know if I want the Devourer of Dreams also having demon.
He
First of all-
only eats dreams. So.
First of all, it's a she, and second of all, she only eats dreams.
Misgendering the world serpent.
And demon dreams are terrible.
Taste horrible, yeah.
And by the
like
way, if
Gesh's
she didn't exist, you would have nightmares every single day.
What?
We live a nightmare.
That sounds like some goddamn void snake propaganda to me.
Well, do you have nightmares every single day?
Like
No,
this stone
you're
protects from
welcome.
tigers. There's no tigers here. Yes, exactly. I mean, if we can place, where would it be placed? Wouldn't it be placed like right next to the Temple of Lolth?
Yes.
Isn't that a pretty good place for demons to show up?
It's a
I mean,
pretty
the
solid
credits-
place.
It'd be pretty entertaining to see them just land on top of the.
Because if they land up there and rampage around that little alcove, that's pretty good, right?
I mean, they can rampage, then start heading down the hill.
I mean, but then we'll be down the hill and stop them.
Maybe. Depends how many demon lords are left at that point.
I mean, you know, we bring Jarlaxle, bring Brigadiers, bring the Spider, Magi, you know, bring everyone we have, stop them at the stairs, let them destroy the Temple of Spiders and everything up there. And we kill them off.
Yeah.
Surely Jarlaxle will be fine with that as well. He doesn't like the priesthood.
I think you should assume a good half of the city will be rather devastated.
And
So
there's
it will
Temple of
just
Lolth.
be that.
It's the Temple of Lolth, guaranteed destruction. And radiating out slower.
She awaits you telling her the rest, though.
So yeah, I assume we tell her this, like all of it, because I don't see a reason not to.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree.
Not the whole point at this point. So.
Just tell her.
Okay. She seems to consider for a moment. You will use the demons then as a weapon.
I mean, if we have the ability to call them anywhere, and we still decide to do it this way, then yes.
This is up to me to decide?
Not exactly, no. I mean, your opinion is going to be considered.
It is a difficult proposition. To use evil, to strike evil would initially seem like a good solution. And yet, I am sure the Council of the Silver City would argue that by using evil, you become it. Perhaps, though, my becoming, well, evil is the lesser evil.
Let's be frank when I say that the Silver City couldn't agree on anything in any form of speed. Especially not something so morally abstract as this.
It looks to surveillance. I now perhaps understand why you were the one who was sent here.
One of the only people to volunteer.
Accept such means. Your family's reputation is, well, it was more than this, but I suppose there's a temptation, is there not? When the winnings could be, well, it is hard to decide. She seems fairly conflicted.
Well, how about this?
Would I do such a thing, I would surely be forever doomed, cursed by my actions, and yet maybe my soul being doomed is worth such a thing, as damaging the foe. I'm sure many members of the Lord's Alliance, most of those perhaps being human, would argue that we should definitely do this, and yet I feel that if they were here with the same choice and had to face the demons and the consequences, they might not want to.
Oh my god, that's so...
How about we think about this differently? Let's be entirely selfish for a moment. Short-term thinking. Let's say we take the heart into some cave somewhere, have the demons fight it out there, then we face the last one, presumably either die, in which case nothing matters, or win, in which case we accomplished our goal. Manzabaranzan still stands, which it has for decades at this point, and will continue to be as evil as it is. We will return to the surface and be known as Demon Slayers or some other grand title, hopefully. Alternatively, of course, we will not be known as anything at all because there will be no witnesses. Some important people might, of course, believe that we did, in fact, kill the demons, but...
He smiles and says, "Oh, I'm sure if this plan succeeds and you seek fame, you would be able to create it easily enough."
It's not
Sure,
exactly...
many people don't realize what we're doing for them down here, but they don't need to, do they?
It's not exactly about fame, is what I'm getting at. I'm getting at legacy, in a sense. Destroying the demons is nice and all, it was necessary, and if we hadn't done it, the world would end. But if we could also strike a blow against Manzabaranzan, then now that would be a legacy. The city would remember it, and everyone who hates Drow would undoubtedly remember that. Demons are too abstract, too distant for people to really care about unless they are standing in front of their doors, whereas striking at the evil heart of the Drow, now that's something to be remembered by.
That is perhaps the worst reason I would ever have imagined.
Hence why I said, let's be selfish. I'm merely trying to present different
All of this is very
viewpoints on the matter.
hypothetical. What are we actually going to do? I understand what you're telling me, but what do I have to do with it? Why am I here? You're not here to aid me, then I can understand. I would welcome such aid.
I mean, we can see if we can make space in our schedule to aid you, but in the end, we are looking for help destroying the demons. It's just the little details we're trying to work out how we do that.
I have precious little help to give these days. I have enough magic in me to keep myself hidden. I can tell you about the city or important people or what they've been doing recently. I can certainly tell you about, well, slavery and where, well, slave might be freed. But in helping you do this,
The biggest help, the most significant thing you can do right now, and it is significant, is help us figure out this last detail. I'm as conflicted as you are, I think, and my viewpoints might be extreme, but they are intentionally so to evoke some discussion. But in the end, I just want these demons done with.
Then perhaps allow me to be selfish as well, Master Cash, and say that should I make this choice, and should you go with whatever I chose, it might doom me either way. Should I be the reason that the city still stands and that people are kidnapped and taken, then I will be blamed for that. And should I be the reason, well, should I have used demons as a weapon against evil, and thereby stand to answer to the gods, then my soul shall be tormented for eternity by the same demons. These things are... you are asking me to sacrifice a lot. I believe that...
Yes, I believe that's why we're here.
If you believe, if you must have me choose, then I will. But
no,
I will not make a choice only to have you disregard it.
No. Choice is ours to make.
She nods. A little hard at this point.
We can certainly ask if Jarlaxo would be willing to aid us, like with the suggestion we have that that it's going to be placed in the. It's not going to be placed in the heart of the city. It's going to be placed in next to the temple. That's where they're going to pop up.
We take a generous idea that it only destroys the adjacent districts, pretty much, and the bazaar. Still a lot of damage, though.
Not the bazaar. That will have badgers in it.
No.
I mean, you see the problem. It spreads out here. You imagine it goes to one district every direction. The bazaar's going to be caught with a crossfire anyway, at that point.
It's probably a safe assumption that collateral damage is to be expected. If nothing else from all the people seeing demons and going crazy from, having shit will saves.
Mm-hmm. Like, we have to assume, those alone are going to be, and then there might be more damage than that, which we can't predict. Especially from civilians.
I mean, that's the whole reason that your Archmage friend wants you to do it, right?
And he's expecting high collateral.
Maybe it can be contained. Maybe Jarlaxle can use his connection to evacuate people.
Create some kind of uproar that moves people away in time for this.
In terms of extreme viewpoints, there's another option. If we do the other thing of taking the heart somewhere else, destroying the demons, then we would not use evil to fight evil. We would not stoop down to their level. We would not do the things that would be quite grotesque, all things considered, to fight our enemies.
Because if we do that, we are also essentially we're following a Drow's plan, admittedly a different Drow's plan, to destroy a Drow city, just helping Drow fighting.
We can let the city know that we, in our hands, had a way to strike a blow against it that they would have felt for decades at least, but chose not to. Because we are not them.
I don't know if the Drow will care that much, but...
We cleaned up their mess. We saved their asses, regardless of what we do. And if we do it without, doing what they might have done, that sends a powerful message to those who disagree with the current regime.
And they would use it as a springboard to revolt. Is that the idea?
In a sense, yeah. It's perhaps not as enticing. It would be a long-term thing. If we attack the city, then, it would be unified. It would have a common threat. The houses would likely all band together to fight the surface. This way, the people who are not in the leadership would realize that leadership, in the past, when they summoned the demon the first time, really hurt the city. And now almost made it hurt again. Except as it turns out, it was saved by surfaces.
Maybe. Could Khalees Like, is that like if we present that as an idea to her, like, could she use that to instigate rebellion? Or like,
She sort of thinks and says, "Well, one thing I do know about is the people of this city. It is certainly true that the the ruling class, if you will, very much want these demons gone. Especially I know that the High Matriarch has been looking for a way to do that for, well, ever since they appeared. This is because, rather embarrassing to her, I suppose, that Grumpf, the Archmage who, well, caused this whole thing, is of her house. In fact, the oldest male of her house.
We would
As
not
such,
only
her
steal.
mistake has rather lost them a lot of favor.
We would not only steal this Archmage Grimoire, we would do his job for him and fix his mess. We would prove them incompetent.
well, it needs to be. We need to somehow like it needs to be bigger than just her house, though, because if her house falls, I mean, it's just another one's going to take its place. You know, nothing really changes.
She is, well, there are multiple factions in this city. There are a lot of male drow who do not like the current regime's idea of suppressing male ambition. A lot of them mages, as it turns out. Beyond that, there is the Temple of Loth. The temple that the current High Matriarch is the leader of. She is the High Priestess of Loth. They call her the Chosen of Loth. It is said that her very gaze can warp creatures into half spider creations. She is the one currently enforcing the laws. Now, of course, you solving this problem, it would not doom her. She is powerful beyond means, but it would certainly shake the faith they have in, well, all of this. Shakes her hand around.
And
The
maybe
main
that'll turn out
opponent
better in the long run.
whole system is, of course, the Spider Magi, I believe. But our host, well, wants the change as well. I would not. His loyalties are conflicted. He is of their family as well. Hence why he's even allowed to do what he's doing.
I mean, okay. I like the idea, certainly. Like, do this as a means to get her. I mean, be less direct, and the damages would be less severe. But I do agree with the idea that if we let the demons rampage through the city and it's become known that we did it, it could very well galvanize the city. You know, just make it even worse.
Like we might be responsible for a war 100 years down the line or 200 years down the line.
Yeah.
Actually,
if we could be responsible or like seen as the heroes and saviors of the city, then maybe that can be used to instigate a rebellion from within.
Yeah, she mentioned that she's been trying to do like work when it comes to like trying to get like slaves banded together into some kind of ready to raise resistance force. If we can help her out on those projects as well, we might be able to like get the state into a state where it's ready to tick when we have the moment. Because she might have things we can do around the state to help them. She needed help, she said, and we might be able to do that to help get the state into a state where we can initiate this. I imagine she sounds like she has ideas.
Imagine that somehow we can instigate a rebellion and and have the ritual take place outside the city, so the city itself is saved, but besmirches the priesthood a lot. Say that the priesthood loses favor, and these magi, this archmagi, take over. Would the spider magi be any better than the priestess of Lolth? Would they be kinder rulers? Would there be less bloodshed?
Less demon sacrifices.
Calissa shakes her head. No, I do not think there would be less. It has not been my mission either, to actually rebel the city in such a way as to overthrow anyone. What my work here has been gathering information, trying to free surfacer slaves. Well, I did that for a long time, but beyond that, try to instigate conflict amongst the drow houses themselves. The more they can infight, the less any one party can rule, the better. As long as they're fighting each other, they're not attacking the surface. Then, well, I suppose weaker leadership would be very helpful to that goal. There would likely be a lot of chaos in the city. Chaos which, well, that I would propose we put forward to the Lord's Alliance as a good chance to free many of the slaves that have been here for a long time. As you can see, my whole problem, the whole issue that has prevented me from doing my job and has kept me here and put me at the service of, well, Jalaxel, is that the city has gone on high alert, that everything is being clamped down upon, that the leadership is using this whole affair to strengthen themselves.
If we get the Lord's Alliance to also then crash into here, it'd be pretty good.
Well, I would prefer if my own people were here, but I would require your help to get them free, and it's not going to be an easy task, so...
Well, can we enlist Jarl Axel in this? I mean, he likes chaos, and he doesn't like the current leadership much. So
Because he doesn't want us to have the heart when we go in there because it could cause in case we just initiate the ritual then and there. But I think it's reasonable. We could probably hand it off to I can't remember how to pronounce her name properly, but give it to Draga here. Because have her holding the heart, we try, she's not going to just, she definitely wants to use the heart. That's not undeniable. So we could probably, it's probably a safe intermediate to have it on where he's going to be happy that we're not using it, and where we're happy he's not going to steal it. So we should be able to get his aid and get sort of work then. Yes, so the hope.
I mean, if you want to bring something before him, you can just say so, and then she can go.
Basically, the plan would be handing over the box of the heart to her in that case, so he would actually agree to help us. Which was literally his idea as well, admittedly, at the start. His middle ground. Because it turns out we're not going to trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
For obvious reasons. Oh boy. I see our objective list is about to it's getting half a mile longer though. We're going to have breakouts to do. We're going to have to instill things in the citizenry. We're going to have to find a cave.
Find a cave? There are plenty in the Underdark.
A suitable fighting cave.
Throw them into the Brittle Swells,
Admittedly, I think that'd be a great place to see the demons fight.
It would be pretty hilarious.
Dust.
Purple worms come in like...
Oh, that would be awesome.
That'll make it better.
You know, I love the idea if we could somehow direct them so they start heading straight towards.
Give it to Thembachard for his horde.
Okay.
Thembachard, take this heart we've made.
I actually consider that, but I don't quite see the point.
Destroyed the wrong thing. How do you guys feel about this general idea then?
I'm okay with any solution that involves killing demons. Anything else is just a plus.
So basically, you're saying any solution where we actually beat the game, as it were.
Now, the thing is, Gash can spin either situation into his benefit. Either we strike a huge blow against the Drow City, or we are the good guys and don't do it.
I don't think I would rather be on the moral high ground at the end of this, but.
So, do you want John Axel to be informed that you want to talk to him, or?
I think so. That's the feeling I'm getting, anyways.
We have proven that we can talk about this for a long time, and I do enjoy hearing what you have to say. I mean, it's a big decision.
Well,
it could make things a lot harder or easier, depending on which way it goes. And Alyssa will go notify people that, and then she'll come back. That you're ready to talk. As the dashing drow steps into the door, taking a look around, giving you a smile, a slight tip of the hat, realizing perhaps that you've taken your time. Certainly, you've rested up, you've washed.
You no longer smell as much.
He doesn't judge that. There are many orcs and such in the city.
Yes, I do.
So, have you?
What did you call me?
How rude. Sir.
Have you come to an agreement?
So, here's how this is gonna go. As he suggested, Lesser Draga will keep the heart in a place that neither of us know. We trust her enough, and apparently as do you. We will acquire the grimoire using whatever help you're able to give, and will, in the end, hopefully, fight the demons outside the city. We will make the fact that we cleaned up the leadership's mess publicly known, so that the trust in the city's leadership will hopefully degrade, considering their obvious incompetence and inability to fix their problem. Your city will stay safe. You will have the opportunity to exploit the hopefully increasing lack of trust into the city's leadership, however you like. However, in return, you will have to help us, obviously. I think it's a win-win situation for everyone involved.
Listens for a bit. Just giving it a bit of time to sort of think it over. It is not the best situation for me, but I understand that it is a compromise.
I have to interrupt here. Sorry, Jalex. What exactly would be the best situation for you?
It is a small thing, but it cannot be helped. There's no way it could be. No matter what. It is simply an unfortunate accident, this whole demonic invasion.
Yes, it would be, of course, the best solution to somehow acquire a time machine and do everything again, but unfortunately that's not very reliable, as we found out.
We sold that machine, actually.
Just sort of just. So I think this is workable.
I think this is the best damn outcome you could have hoped for. We are going to fix the demons. Your city will stay safe. You will get revenge against, well, not revenge, I suppose. You'll just have more opportunities to do whatever it is you do. I think you should at least acknowledge that it's not a compromise. It is exactly what you want.
As a man who often has to haggle for his pay, I am not accustomed to telling people that their ideas are great for me. However, if you so insist, I will say that you have eloquently explained your position and the worth of your actions, and that if this is something you truly will offer, then I shall agree to it. The city will suffer anarchy, I suppose, but that is nothing new to it. And I suppose in that manner I might be able to make some small changes to how some things work. I have a particular statue close to here that I have to pass every time I want to go for a stroll, and I could rather see that being undone.
Oh, you can do whatever it is you like after we're done, I'm sure. However,
Liam
until then,
clears his throat. We would also require you to assist the freeing of a lot of the slaves.
and we also need 2 badgers to reach the bazaar.
I believe that you are adding a bit more cost here than there was in this.
Badgers.
Have you considered the difficulty of such thing with the ban in place?
It's important to me.
Staring at Gesh right now.
Everyone just rolls their eyes over the Gesh. I am serious though. Destabilizing the city's clergy and leadership is a key component of this deal.
Nonsense. I suppose it cannot be helped. The city's leadership has proven that it is willing to cut off, if you will, some of its own. I suppose it is only fair to allow the chips to fall right. In that respect. I will, suppose, feel like I have done enough. I shall, as I have never attempted to, not protect any slavers, or try to keep slaves from escaping. It is simply done. In fact, I am most often hired to free some.
And use whatever contacts and skills you have to fan the flames of this chaos. The longer it lasts, the happier we will be. It will be unfortunate if nothing happened in the city after we have cleaned up the mess.
Yes, I shall see what I can do. You can trust me on that as much as you would trust me in anything. But leave that to me. I suppose. How quickly would you be able to go for this? As much as I like having guests, you are rather risky guests to have. If our little meeting here was discovered by some people who are not, in fact, in my employ, then, well, the leadership of the city would be ill-tempered with my attempt to interfere with their plan.
Well, considering the gravity of the task ahead of us, probably need a full day's rest at least before we set off. We need to refresh some of our powers.
I can give you a day. Yeah. That will be possible, though I will also offer you other things that should make this task a lot easier.
Mithril +2 full plate?
Huh? Yeah, is that right here?
That's like the least helpful thing. Got some armor. Done.
I don't know. +2 armor would be pretty good right now.
That'd be pretty good, yeah.
I mean, there's a few things. Because one of the big problems we end up having is like, how do we also get up to the lab without like not getting murdered on the way up?
To get this book, you would have to enter the Archmage's own sanctum, something that is rather difficult. Now, there are wards upon the stairs to the that are protected by things that cannot so easily be removed. 2 massive guardian creatures guard the path, and, well, to be honest, they will know anyone who is not of noble blood and drow if they attempt to break in there. Nothing I can imagine could cheat them. However, I can offer something that will help in that respect. I can make a distraction that will at least let you get up the stair, deal with these creatures, hopefully, and, move on to the next part of the plan before it is discovered that they have been destroyed. In fact, I will even go so far as to attempt to clean them up a little bit. It might give you an hour, 2 hours of time inside before any alarm is sounded. Now, to make that easier, I can offer you something else. Something I think you will need. Sort of looks at Roland. As you are clearly not Drow, I will offer you invisibility. Enough that it should take you, well, close enough. It will likely not function inside of the actual sanctum. It is easily enough removed, but to get there you will avoid any questions from bypassing mages and the like. Then, something I do not yet have, but I suppose I could find in a day. The saucier, the tower that the mages rest within. It is protected by many spells. I can probably discover the password for such things. I've recently come into some eggs that I could trade in return for. You see, it is an expensive purchase, but well, with that, you should have an hour of time within. Before any general alarm or spell protection takes you out. Getting in and out in an hour will be difficult, but I suppose whatever protections are upon the sanctum should not take so long to destroy. Get the thing and get out here again. Well, I suppose we will be a lot wiser then.
Well, suppose so.
So we can have, we knew there were walls on the stairs, and okay,
Yeah.
at least be able to help not make the guardians go after us, being invisible, so we don't get murdered for being non-drow.
I mean, we need to act fast, but then again, we weren't really going to stay in there. We're not really going to hang around.
Our goal was to go in there, hit, grab book, leave.
Yeah.
Effectively, he will get you to the stairs. Try to cover you while you try to deal with them fast, whatever guardians that are there fast. Hopefully, have you invisible so you don't encounter problems when you get to the Saucier. Give you the password so you can enter it without having to deal with the guards there or any of the wards there. Letting you get to Grump's own sanctum, which you will have to deal with. He doesn't actually know what's in there, but
I'm imagining
all this time he will try to make a diversion or something so that people will not discover that anyone has gone up the stairs. They're not supposed to.
Yep. This seems fairly reasonable.
I
I think that's reasonable is the name of the archmage, which is Grump. That's just a...
Yeah, once we leave there, we can figure out if there's anything else we need to do in the city before doing the ritual. We can decide if we want to help,
how much would a magical full plate cost in the bazaar? I wonder.
For example, I was thinking,
more than what we have.
Oh, I don't know. It can be pretty persuasive.
Out of curiosity,
Murdering.
this is something I at least want to know. Kalessa said she had some of her people imprisoned.
What? Repeat that?
Kalessa said she had some of her people imprisoned. Some of her
Yes.
network.
She will inform you it is one person in particular who is sort of her. Well, she will confess that he was actually not really as much of a spy as she, and which is why he got captured. He's a human paladin who has been working to free slaves for the good of his heart. She likes him very much, but he is currently slaving and being made an example of.
Where?
I mean, he could only be more
In the
hated if he was an
farmlands.
elf.
Oh, if he was an elf, it would be. He would not be.
You know, an
Hence
elf.
why he's the only one of her people that is still around, because the others just.
An elf paladin.
Is there anything we can consider for perhaps afterwards that we might want to free him before we go?
Yeah, I mean, she wouldn't get any help. She's unable to stop them herself. There is he has a set of drow guards, and then like just small hordes of fucking just that, but small hordes of slaves.
I was worried you were going to say small horde of quasits.
No, goblinoids mostly. That will intervene happily to earn their master's favor.
Like getting more forces for our side that will help like clearing slaves, I would appreciate.
I'll say that without him, she probably limited what she can do, but he's always been more the type to inspire people.
Yeah, if
So
you get him.
he thinks it might be a good idea actually to wait until after you've got the book.
Yeah.
Much suffers might not let you go without him if
No, yeah, I
he's
agree.
somewhat stubborn.
I'm agreeing with this. I'm just saying like as like other objectives to think about before we leave the city at the end, not before we get the book. Before we leave the city. Like,
Badgers to Bazaar.
Badgers to Bazaar. That can be something else we do before we can.
You're gonna take them with you into the.
No. Going to the Orc Farmlands can be a thing afterwards as well to deal with that. If there's any other small objectives we can think up, kind of what other can we do after we. Shopping may also be included depending on what you want to do. Yeah, for all of you keep asking for magical full plates.
I mean, I suppose that's one good thing the city can do. Item shopping.
I'd like magic armor. Not gonna get
It's
it,
just
but
a shame that it's going to be way out of our budget. But it's worth a look.
Who knows? The Archmage's room might have some good shit.
that's true.
Yeah.
Which we might need for the final fight. So
Find that chest and then we can.
we then sell it at the market. All the money.
Yes, sell it at the
And
market.
if you
Where
find a
did you
chest,
get this
remember
from?
to open it as noisily as possible, preferably by attacking it repeatedly.
Oh, silly me. Sorry, I was just going to like mage hand. I was just going to mage hand lock it like 30 feet away. Sorry, that's not silly me.
The
No,
knock
no.
spell, you know, a
That'd be-
thunderclap.
That'd be silly. We need to.
I apologize for being so foolish. Let me instead use firebolt on it.
Yes, there we go.
We just
Honestly-
thunder step over there and then
I
knock.
can- Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, then he will want you to give Talissa the thing and let her go. Well, both of you all stay here with him. So
No,
you can be sure he's not looking at her, and you can be sure you are not.
I assume you guys are okay with this.
Yeah.
Having fingers all over her. Kill her, take the heart.
Roll. Roland will reach into his inconspicuous backpack. It's been disguised. His bag of holding is actually that is actually disguised right now.
Mhm.
And out will come the. I suppose what is it, like a lead box?
Actually, it's like a chest with like an audible like thumping sound of a black demonic death heart.
Yeah, basically though, that chest will suddenly just rise out of the backpack. That it clearly should not be able to.
Like thumping sound.
I don't know which it weighs, but I'll hand it over.
As she looks at it with a disgusted face, well, Jarlaxle sort of probably intrigued at the sight of such a thing. At least curious.
Bag of holding, best magic item ever.
Yep.
Takes
it
it.
is.
She looks at it. Place it in her own bag of holding. well, haversack anyway.
I mean, same purpose. Experimental space.
It's a little too big to just like.
You couldn't carry it through the street, right?
Excuse me, I can't help but notice your throbbing demon heart. Like,
If nothing else, Excuse me, ma'am. Your chest seems to be beating.
I will place this in a place where no one will find it.
We appreciate it.
Please don't look for it, said everyone. And she will take her leave.
I mean, from the one thing we do apparently know about the spy, she's very good at disappearing. Staying hidden, so, yeah.
Jarl Axel says, I suppose I should bring you to some better rooms than this, then.
I suppose we must get prepared now.
Don't have to be great, but we have our own rooms. He will take you to singular bedrooms. Looks like the kind that you would expect. Well, I mean, okay, you have no idea what you would expect, but they're fine. Like drow noble guard rooms. Each has an individual one. Probably expected what kind of room that you would give to like an officer of a lesser noble house. So like they're spacious. They have a table, chair, a bed. Everything is spider themed, of course.
Nice.
You can go to the bathroom without having to squat. It's good.
Fits the season that we're in right now.
Yes. Boo.
Also, you'd have your clothes washed while you sleep.
Oh, that's nice.
Lovely.
I'm a mobile pet with a set of clothing, but who has a current set of clean, that's fine. Pretty good.
While the elves meditate on their beds.
Well,
I'd say that if someone knocks on the door, you should just not answer.
Yeah.
I mean, Roland's fine. He'll normal spot Roland. We know that.
Beyond that, he hopes that none of you snore particularly much, and
The spiders hate
he will
snoring.
leave you to it.
Gonna have to gag Liam then. He
If there's
snores.
anything else you could want, a meal.
Yeah. General food and supplies, I suppose.
Sure. These people can bring in some fruit, and some wine. Not bad stuff. Good stuff. Nice like spider food. It's nice mushrooms from the mushroom plantations. Mushroom wine.
To confirm, there happens to be no nearby altars of Loth.
No, not in here.
But
it was not what he began doing when Doerden House was restored.
I'm imagining Roland's rest tonight is going to be 4 hours of meditation, followed by at least 2 hours of prayer. Because God, Roland feels like he needs the blessing of Timora, the god of.
Jimjar will approach Gesh and sort of say, "So, Gesh, what are you going to do with the badgers?"
I mostly just want to get them to the bazaar, and then I haven't really thought about it.
So, tomorrow, when this is all going to happen, you're going to take them to the bazaar?
Yeah.
Spending valuable time to do that? In the middle of saving the world? To win a bet?
If you phrase it like that, it really
certainly what a hero would do.
If you phrase it like that, it sounds really bad, doesn't it?
Yes.
It would be a shame if the password, given that it works for an hour, would, expire by the time we got there. Maybe I should take the badger. Let them go somewhere.
But then I would lose my bet, wouldn't I?
He's likely. Would be a shame after so much effort.
Would be, wouldn't it?
On the other hand, it is the world.
Only this bet wasn't necessary in the first place. Perhaps then the world could be saved.
Well, yes, you offered it. How could I say no? It was all in my favor to begin with.
How about I just sleep
Have to
over
go
this?
somewhere. He shrugs. Sure, though I could spend the night taking them outside the city. Let them go. Be free badgers. Maybe they could find their way home.
Well, that would be great for everyone involved, wouldn't it? But I still want to... I don't care about the bet. I care about knowing more about you.
Touching.
Very, I'm
Yet,
sure.
what is the point if everything's just given to you, Gish? If something could just magically fix everything, then there would be no interest in the world, would there?
You'd think that something as mundane as information about someone would be less of a point of contention and less opposed to having enough time to save the world. Unless it's not mundane at all, in which case I really want.
He smiles like this. Gish, I think you know me well enough at this point that you would understand that the value of anything is how much someone is willing to pay for it.
Well, I'm gonna get these badges to the bazaar.
I bet you won't.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we?
I'll pet the badgers, and we'll go get some sleep. Badgers will be in Gish's room, cuddling up together on the cold floor.
Part of me almost wants me to spend my last spell slot today turning them invisible and having them usher. Just so they're lost.
How do you prove that there are badgers in the bazaar if they're invisible?
See?
Jim Jar has ways of seeing it. Otherwise, Liam can cast see invisibility on Jim Jar so you can see the badgers.
No, I meant more of that like Roland had have a half mind though to just like turn the badgers invisible and then open the door and let them...
Slap them on the button, let them run into the city. Invisible badgers.
Pretty much just so we don't have to deal with them.
Just invisible guardian badgers charging through the city.
They'll only be invisible for an hour. They'll appear again then.
You know, I like the badgers.
Luckily, Roland's too focused right now on preparing for tomorrow to consider what the hell the badgers are. So we're getting like long rest.
Yep, you can take a long rest.
Yeah, he spells lots.
Hallelujah.
Well, that's the main reason we want long rest. Just for spells.
I was missing a fair few.
I'm getting the sense I might need to use a few shield spells tomorrow to protect myself.
Good old shield spell.
Let's be honest, it saved both our lives countless times at this point.
Oh yeah, shield is great.
Although I'm still jealous of the fact that you have 100 HP on the dot.
Yep.
It looks pretty.
Will never improve.
I've never had a perfect 100 before.
I'm at 79 HP. It's like, this is not a good number.
No.
Well, it was bound to happen when you took average every level.
Ah.
Yeah, you can certainly rest, sleep.
We do that. Liam snuggles up with the badger. Might be the last time he sees them.
Well,
That'll be fine.
Bizarre. Drow pack badgers for the rest of their lives.
No. Terrible. They're gonna have
Slaving the wool mines.
the badger mines.
Yeah.
Roland will take some time to pray with Cyrilla.
They become rations. Drow rations. Well, they are very snuggly badgers. Because they have gotten to snuggle with someone every night. You know.
Oh, Look on their faces. Oh, it's so great.
They don't know what's going to happen to them.
No.
Coming storm.
I don't know what's gonna happen to them. Maybe they'll find like a traveling circus.
So
It'll
I'm
be
guessing
like-
I'm guessing Gesh goes out very early in the morning or something before all of this takes place, because I don't think
Gish doesn't take a
spending
rest.
valuable. Well, doesn't need is a warlock.
It's true, I got nothing. I guess I got my 6th level spell slot, which isn't it's only situationally useful.
Well, you have that from a short rest, right?
No, that's long.
Levels
Huh?
exception.
I have 3 normal spell slots, and then my Mystic Arcanum, which is my 6th level spell slot. That's on a long rest.
I see.
Warlock to win.
Well, up to you, of course, but I certainly don't think it's a good idea to spend valuable time of the heist going to the bazaar.
Especially when we need buff spells for it as well, like invisibility.
The next morning, Jim Jar would suggest that, since he's not really essential to this, he can take care of the badgers while you're gone.
You
I
can
mean-
do that if I still win my bet. If you do,
He's not going to take the badgers to the bazaar.
then your offer is quite pointless.
I mean, okay. Then what we
It's
can
not
do
a
is,
good idea to just take them safely to some place,
I mean, there is the alternative one here. If Jim Jar just keeps hold of the badgers and doesn't release them, and just leaves them so Gesh can fill this after we've done.
I'll ask you where in this city do you think that keeping badgers safely would be possible?
Clearly, it's a place he wants to hide.
For most things, they're food.
Well, anyone looks at them funny, Gesh is gonna beat them up.
All right, James just shrugs and will say that he doesn't believe there's a greater chance of completing the bet for Gesh if he takes them into the mage place. But he's not gonna do anything but offer his help. Or maybe Gesh can do it.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bet if there isn't a risk of failure.
Exactly.
I can practically hear everyone face bombing.
Yeah.
It's not even worth me giving you an audible face bump. I don't feel.
I mean, the idea is funny, but the situation is such that I don't think the risk is worth it.
Like we're trying to break into either a top secret area, or potentially waste the resources for breaking into the top secret area.
Yes,
It's,
all of this is bad.
it's important though.
It isn't really.
It's important for Gesh, not for the rest of us.
Well, that's my suggestion then. I guess could go and try to, I don't know, put them in a sack and try to drag them to the bazaar while the rest of us sleeps,
Yeah.
maybe.
Get captured on the way there. I would be okay with giving up a long rest to try this.
All right. Though consider that if you do get approached, you're gonna be alone.
Yeah, but I'm not an elf, so I've got that going for me.
Sure.
I was about to maybe volunteer to go with you because I only need 4 hours of sleep, but no, I'm now going with you. Not after that comment. Fine.
Just
Yeah.
just want to point it out before things seem
All right.
unfair. But
No, I think this is an incredibly bad idea.
It is a bad idea. There's no argument there.
and yet maybe that makes it so much more tantalizing.
Honestly, if it makes Ginger talk, I'll do it. He has been such a good companion. But
Find out something that makes you leave him behind.
This is just the way it works, yeah.
All right. Sure.
Just saying, that means you'll be purely relying on your own self checks there.
Gesh, instead of sleeping, cannot sleep. Thinking of the thing, and we'll have to go in and get Liam's badger out of his bed and track it off. Yeah, is that what we're doing? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, I can grant you one boon if you want.
I'm just getting rid of the spell slot. Don't panic.
I can grant you one boon, which is I can grant
Kill the badger.
Which is I can grant one creature when you leave invisibility for an hour.
Do you want to be Gesh with one badger? no Gesh with two badgers.
I can grant you a invisibility before I leave. So I can do that, then rest.
I don't know if that would help.
I mean, less badges?
One less badger. I don't know. 2 badges seem less of a meal than one. Because at that point you have to deal with 2 badges.
On the other hand, that means double the food.
Nah, if a bunch of slaves attack, Gesh can totally take them.
Alright.
He has badges. They are war badges after all.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Would you like an invisibility before you...
He's not real. He doesn't need invisibility.
He might want it. He has feelings.
Jimjar has to go since,
Would Jimjar like an hour of invisibility?
Fine, he's a deep gnome. He has no detection for always. He's been hiding.
That's true. Well, have fun.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens then. All right, Gesh. Where do you want to go?
To the bazaar.
2 steps away.
Sure. So you wanna move between a place. Let's see how inconspicuous Gesh is. A dude with 2 badgers? I mean, that is weird. Even here.
2 dudes.
There's a Jimjai is certainly doing by his own thing. Like
There's a dude and 2 badges.
he doesn't want to get caught by drow. That'd be horrible.
First of all, how long would the trip roughly take on foot?
Well, generally, it's an area sort of to get through each hour to get through each of these zones.
Okay.
If you don't get interrupted by anything.
Yeah, before making the crossing, before making the crossing over, then Gesh will cast tongues so we can at least talk immediately.
Okay.
If it comes to that.
Sure. So give me a stealth roll with. Well, that would then be just normal stealth roll.
Can do that. Everything rolling on a single d20. What can go wrong? That's not good.
Go wrong.
Okay, but it's not great.
You have Jim.
Actually, yeah, totally. Jimjar totally. I mean, we're literally taking a bet on this.
All right, sure. You want to use his ability?
Like this is the situation. See, he's totally on my side.
$17, you say? God, what's
I thought I might as well bring him up for this.
My 17 is a lot better. And it's enough. Here. So yes, we'll just move Gesh here. Look at that, Gesh. Now you only have to move into the actual bazaar unnoticed.
I mean, surely there's a crowd with all kinds of weird things moving about
Yes,
the
but you're gonna have
bazaar.
to push your way in there.
That's easy enough.
See if you can do so without being noticed. By meeting someone unpleasant. Or...
Another stealth check.
Yep, sure is.
No problem.
Look at that.
Full of confidence.
If you did not have a cloak, you would be screwed. But you do.
Yeah.
I don't
Mostly
want.
people look at the fucking badgers.
I don't want to be pessimistic, but there's still the return journey.
But yeah, he does have to return with the badges, though.
What? Of course I have to return with the badges. Do you think I'm just gonna leave the badges on the bazaar?
I was assuming you might sell them.
Gesh makes his way into the bazaar. A magnificent place. Really. As she looks around, there's just people everywhere. Even here at night when the light is low, people everywhere. Magical lanterns shining. And on the ground, a lot of burned-in footprints. It's quite clear that this place currently has no real permanent structures. The things that are set here have been made by fungal wood and such, because it seems that this whole bazaar was completely ruined by demons recently. Around the place, there are certainly slaves walking around cleaning up a bit, but beyond that, there still are a lot of drow and other creatures trading.
Right. Not wanting to take too much time in a solo thing during the session. Are there any spell scrolls for sale?
Probably.
How much would those be?
Well, what kind of spell scroll would he be looking for?
I'm looking for things like invisibility, silence. Yeah, pretty much level 2 and below.
Well, mostly magic items are traded by, trade.
Do they take badges?
But consider. I mean, maybe they do. Consider that you can find probably scrolls of up to level 2, up to second level spells.
Okay.
There are maybe not now, but maybe next session, beginning next session, we can look at the magic item rules in Thanatar's guide, because there are some suggestions there how to price magical items.
Yeah. Maybe for now we can do it like that. Gesh has an opportunity to buy something, but can I maybe buy things in retrospect? Because I don't want to now spend time looking for things.
Okay. We can do that.
All right.
Then Gesh wants to go home?
Yeah, Ginger, we'll talk later.
Yeah, when we have time, when all this is over.
Yeah, sure. But now let's get these badges home again.
It's one thing. Jimja has never let a bet go unfulfilled.
Yeah.
And the badges are now in the bazaar.
As soon as they're taken out, of course, that is over.
Only valid while they are actually in the bazaar. Oh boy. Here's where everything goes wrong.
I mean, some delicious rolls, but he decided to
sneak
out on his own.
I'm not leaving the badges behind either.
I didn't expect you to.
Oh god.
Well.
Run, badges, run.
Well. Guess you're sneaking out of the bazaar.
With 2 badges.
Sneaking out of the bazaar with 2 badgers. What a time. Sounds like the beginning of a joke.
There was a dragonborn, 2 badges leaving the bazaar.
As he basically it does that thing where he's trying to move around some people, and then he's pretty big, but still a couple of what looks like youngish drow dressed very nicely step out in front of him.
Oh no, bullies.
And look up at him. One of them is holding a small pouch and looks at Gesh in the eyes, giving him a smile of, well, I mean, this guy is a sort of a young adult, if anything. As she then casually drops a single drow coin on the ground, looks at Gesh, and Gesh still has tongues going, yeah?
Yes, or if it ran out, he would have recast it on the bazaar.
Okay. As he'll then say, pick it up.
All right. Cash has got to keep the what's it called, the eye contact, and cast telekinesis. And then float the coin up to this guy.
He makes a frown. This was clearly not what he wanted Gesh to do. As he will just snatch it out of the air. You know, get in Gesh's face a little more. You can see that behind him, a couple more are standing up. And one of them reaches out a hand and sort of pushes him a little bit back. This one seems to be a female drow who looks at Gesh, turns her head, really inspects him.
Worse. Cash.
Who are you? She asks with a tone that sounds like the kind of woman who's used to getting everything she wants.
Cash will, first of all, bow reasonably deeply, and then say, what will he say? He's not going to give his real name, but I hate coming up with new names. My name is Denda. I apologize if I've done anything that I shouldn't have. I'm not native to this place, obvious. Is there anything I could do for
you? Have not prostrated yourself for me, creature.
Oh, apologies. And Gesh will bow again, more deeply.
Sort of smiles, cockily, and says, on the ground, all fours. You should walk like the kind of creature you are.
Oh, you shouldn't have said. Might I return the favor and ask who you might be?
You don't know?
I obviously do not.
I am Lady Villain Tyrann, leader of the Bandersnatches. She reaches a hand out as the male drow sort of all nod. All of them appearing rather young.
The what now?
He frowns slightly. The Bandersnatches, though I guess that doesn't mean anything to a creature like you.
How old are you?
Frowns at Gesh, says, why should that matter? Now, creature, come on, do a little dance. Amuse us. We'll let you go with your food.
Listen, my lady, there's two ways this can go. Either I apologize again and will bow as deeply as I am able, and we part ways, or we agree to disagree and see what comes from that. You don't know who I am, I don't know who you are. Let's leave it at that before we find out, shall we?
Frown slightly. Or what would you do to me? You would hurt me here? I think even something like you is smart enough not to do that.
Oh, I would absolutely avoid doing any harm whatsoever. But I want to avoid either of us being embarrassed in public.
I mean, you're bringing the High Priestess her lunch, right? Being held
Who
up
do
like
you
this.
think would be embarrassed?
You are keeping me from an important errand for someone who you'd rather not be associated with, I'm afraid. I don't have time for that. Neither do you.
And what kind of person would keep something like you around?
Someone who recognizes that I am more than I seem to be, if you get the message.
And who's that?
Oh boy. All right. If you want to do something that I'll regret, please do it now, otherwise you're wasting my time.
I think I rather fancy those badgers of yours.
Oh, I'll sell them to you, if you like. You, of course, have to beat the price that the person who I'm bringing them to currently is paying for these. But I would be more than willing.
I think I'll flay them. Wear their
Sure.
fur about my neck.
Sure.
I think you should give them to me.
I'm
Then
currently
I'll let you
being
go.
I'm currently being paid 2,000 gold pieces per. If you offer more than that, I would be more than willing to part with one of them.
Seems like this makes her want them more. I think you should give them both to me. As a gift to me.
Guess it's just
The
gonna
other drow sort of nod, looking confidently. One of
Guess
them
it's-
chuckles to himself as he knows Gesh will not and that he will embarrass himself.
But bunch of drow bullies, really?
That's what's on here, man.
Guess just gonna try walking past these guys, like rolling his eyes, obviously. Pretending that he doesn't give a shit, even though
She draws a
Sort of does.
dagger. I wouldn't ignore me if I were you, creature. I can hurt you, but you can't hurt me. That's the law.
Gesh is gonna speak to her telepathically and pretty much say, there's worse things I can do that leave no mark whatsoever, and nobody will know that I've done them.
Seems like an intimidate check.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm getting at here.
In fairness, doing it telepathically was a pretty good message.
Oh.
She sort of looks at Gesh, quirks an eyebrow.
I believe you were about to stab me, so how about you get on with it?
She seems like she's looking for a way out that won't make her lose face immediately, because Gesh actually does seem pretty scary. And she looks to one of her companions. You know what? You're beneath me. She hands the dagger to one of the male drow. Steps to the side confidently.
Not a bad move.
Gesh notices the dagger appears to be poisoned.
Of course.
It's one of my father's. You should be afraid of him. My mother's in the church. You could never do anything. Now just give me a badger, and you can go.
How about we do something else? If you really like these creatures, I can get more for you, in fact. These two are
I
really...
want these ones now. Others later. She seems like she's very aghast that you dare like do this haggling thing. She's not used to that at all.
Well, you know what? If this drow guy wants to stab me, I can hurt him. He's not a female.
Guess we'll just push on.
Yeah, he just can leave.
All right. Will he try to avoid being stabbed?
Yes.
Or will he just take the stab?
No.
Right.
Or maybe he could fake not giving a shit about being stabbed.
That would be kind of hardcore.
Will he dodge and weave, try to jump to the side?
I actually like that thought. He's just gonna accept getting stabbed and pretend that he doesn't even care.
He just keeps walking.
He'll just like walk past the guy as he like jams the thing.
Yeah, he'll try.
All right.
Get to Cyrilla and she can fix whatever ails you.
Unless it's a missing limb.
No, I think I can fix those.
Sure. Well, then Gesh will get stabbed by this for 5 points of damage and a Constitution save.
I also considered putting on the armor of Agathis and just have the guy stabbing me explode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good
point.
Well, that is not very good Constitution save, mate.
No.
Why am I thinking this might be sleep poison?
As he feels a terrible burning fire go through him. horrible, horrible pain wrecking through him. Let's see how bad this is, because it could be very bad.
How bad could it be?
Oh god, what is
48
that?
poison damage as the
Whoa.
purple worm venom runs through his veins.
There should be poison control in this city. There can't be just teenagers running
There
around
is
with
no
poison
that.
daggers.
Well,
Make sure he doesn't pull them out.
let's. How do we test if Gesh can remain composed?
I mean,
After taking more than
Concentration
half
save,
of
I
his health?
guess. Can you do a concentration save against 48?
oh, you
No.
got War Master.
Okay, so to tell us what it looks like.
Technically, no, I can't. Can you deceive it?
That was I expected like 10 damage, and then I would
Yeah.
just pretend that there's nothing.
I mean, you'd need a 24 on a con check.
I mean, you get stabbed, and they all like sort of step back. A little bit nervous. They haven't murdered someone before, but Gesh doesn't seem to die.
I guess
Oh, they
Gesh
fucked up.
can't really pretend to not care about this, but he can reel a bit and then turn to them and ask, "How many more daggers of those do you have? Because you're gonna need a couple."
Oh, she looks at him with that question. Was not what she expected. Do you offer intimidating, or you just sort of?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I feel like you want an effect of this.
I want them to back off.
I imagine it's that slow kind of like.
Just
Yes.
should have advantage on this because
She frowns. Says,
Badass.
"Well, I think I could find enough. Come on, everyone. It's not worth our time." Then she was a spit in Gesh's direction and leave him there.
Oh god, I
Fucking
can't.
kids, man.
So what we're hearing is Drow Knife Crime is really up to.
That would have killed anyone that wasn't like level 10 or above. Quite easily. I think.
Anyone who's not at least level.
Actually, Gesh does notice that she has like more daggers on her, certainly,
Other they all have that level of
and that
poison.
she wears them fairly adeptly.
Just
Probably
don't
not
stab.
entirely young, just blundering.
Stop stabbing, please.
He might actually have been in danger, but she does seem intimidated by him. Not used to a fight.
Someone surviving.
Well, that's the thing. You get stabbed by that, and you're not. You don't have like 50 plus health.
I like to imagine the idea. It's almost like Gesh kind of like staggers for a moment. It's like, is he going to fall over? And so just like very slow twisting that he like cracking the joints, looks over.
Mhm. They see some other person that go to torment them instead. Gesh clearly wasn't as much fun as they hoped.
You may leave with your badges intact. You're not your own body. But your
No, you
badges.
didn't get out here, so we'll see if he can make it out now. Punching, probably coughing.
A little bit. I may be terribly poisoned.
Do you have potions?
No.
I mean, I know you don't have like 60 health of potions, but
Maybe he bought some, but we won't know.
Well, there's only one more area to cross before.
No, you're still in the bazaar.
you never got out because you failed the
Failed
roll.
it after all.
Oh shit. Well, all right. Try again. Next person gets a badger.
It's not a bad.
It's a badger.
Ah.
Let's see.
I'm scared.
Well, yeah.
Decent.
All right. 14 seems to get out of the bazaar.
isn't it 21 with the cape?
No, the badger just give me disadvantage.
Give cape to the badgers.
He's two badgers, one peasant.
Person walking badgers. Oh. Well, he managed to get out of the bazaar. Now they're still past demon webs and such. She looks there. feeling this constant pain,
You can do
wrecking
it.
horrible pain.
Yeah, even Jimja bets I can do it. Haven't used that yet.
You already have advantage though.
He believes
That's the problem. It doesn't do anything because you already have advantage. Just you have disadvantage.
it's the principle. Right, one last self check. That's not good.
Oh,
Who are you? I don't care. Have a badger. Leave it alone.
I don't want a badger.
oh gosh.
They won't want us to leave.
Okay, I'm just gonna give this a chance here, because maybe, gotta keep things moving. Oh.
I should have put death ward on him or something before he left.
I'm like 4 hours now. So.
Well. Well. Sure. Okay. All right. Normally, I might be afraid this might take some time, but I don't think Ash is. He will do. As she turns the corner with his two badgers, hunched over and like coughing, he will walk into people coming the other way. As he stands face to face with a woman, tall, wearing robes and armor, a tentacle rod in her hand, a full priestess of Loth, and her retinue.
Gash is just gonna hit the floor immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's actually a pretty good idea.
He'll even
seem to be
nudge the
looking
badgers to
currently.
bow.
Just sort of make his way away as she basically looks around. Surveying some damaged buildings that are in the area. She stops and looks down at Gash. Clearly expecting something.
If there is something I should know as a player, then I'm too tired to remember.
Don't think there is, but Gash might be able to. I mean, he can try something, or he can just do nothing and wait.
I feel like speak only when spoken to seems like a good rule.
Let's see, one of these guys will go over and kick Gash. Then grab him and drag him to the other side to throw him against the wall to clear the way, basically.
Oh, that makes sense.
Knocking the creatures out of the way too.
I don't guess not resisting.
No, just do it. I got stabbed. Leave me alone.
They will continue. This guy looks at Gash more, trying to sort of see what's wrong with him. As these continue a little bit further, surveying some more damages over here. One of them remains, and will step forward, looking down at Gash.
Well, tongue spell
Who
is
do
still
you
running.
serve?
You know what? How about Alex? He employs adventurers, yeah. Guess we'll say Alex.
Slightly. Do a charisma check.
Straight up charisma.
Straight up charisma. Turns out the priestess are Lolth, and their guards are incredibly easy to offend.
Oh god.
He frowns. In what capacity?
I was hired into his mercenaries.
What are you doing here?
I was just running an errand from the bazaar.
Step back. What is your name?
He doesn't have a name. Now, let's just say the real name so Jalex actually knows if he gets approached. My name is Gash.
You will report to the matriarch's palace as soon as possible. You
Of course.
work for the ruling house now.
Thank you, my lord.
They will continue on their way.
So Gash, you got a promotion.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess he has a steady job now.
I mean, admittedly, this job,
Stage job too.
His parents will be very proud.
this job may involve a whip.
Oh boy, what a day it has been, and I'm not even home yet.
Just, I was sure you was going to be enslaved right there.
I'm quite surprised I wasn't. Although not. Maybe I was. I'm not sure what they mean with employment.
No, maybe be an enforcer. Depends on what they saw in you, I suppose. Understandably, these inquisitors are rather good judges of character.
In a sense, he complimented me.
Well, does Gesh want to try to get home now?
Yes.
Let's see if he can.
You found employment.
Okay.
Anything I can do to make this stealth check better?
I don't know if there is. I mean, you could just accept meeting, whatever, and then not try being stealthy. But
Right, I mean, I can't think of anything, so let's just go home and hope a 13 is enough.
13 is just enough.
Good.
Gesh,
Guys, I'm home. I got stabbed and then hired.
everyone else is like getting up, like, oh, it's a good rest.
Wait,
Well, time to go.
so how long could Gash been gone for? We say like actual more.
Well, he seems to have been gone for 6 hours.
I like to think that Cyrilla and Riordan are there in like the like main room as he comes in.
Well, I mean, probably not, because you're not supposed to be visible.
I suppose.
I did say though, Roland would come to pray with Cyrilla, so
Yeah.
we've been probably chilling out in one of our rooms right now, just kind of talking about elven things this entire time.
Oh, flowers, harps, music, fine wine, elven things. Living forever.
Asking Cyrilla about the elven homelands, which Roland has never been to.
Oh, she's got some tales for you.
Jim Jar will say that he is busted and needs to go sleep. He'll try to get some rest while he can. The badgers look pretty grumpy and tired too.
You know,
Been dragged around.
That's a special.
I'm sorry, Magus.
They really wanted to bite that drow. I was pushing them back.
Good thing they didn't.
The message felt up to Gash. So how was the badger?
Well, it was illuminating. It told me much about the city. I looked around a bit. Then I got stabbed by a bunch of teenagers. And apparently am now serving the ruling house.
Also
sorry,
an
hold
outlaw if you
I'm
don't
sorry.
meet
I'm
their
sorry.
suit.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that last?
I apparently got told to go to the Matriarch's palace, and I'm now serving the ruling house. I don't know exactly what that means.
What kind of care package did they get?
They kicked the badger and put me against the wall.
It's better than I expect.
I may have also said that I was originally working for Daleks, which is true, but if I don't show up at the Matriarch's palace, Daleks is going to be in trouble. So we should probably leave very soon before any of that comes to pass.
Deny we exist. Which you do anyway.
It's fine. Jarlaxle is very good at lying. He will just.
Yeah, you guys deny we exist anyway, so.
Now, if you don't mind, Cyrilla, I've just found out that drow poison is very effective.
She'll actually laugh. She'll
And
just straight
I'm
up
about
laugh.
to die now, so.
I mean, people wondered what Drow wanted Purple Worm eggs for.
Yeah.
Raised Purple Worm.
That's poison.
So, to be... Oh, God. Question is, what do I even use to heal you?
I would argue, since he was gone 6 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm hearing then is we have 2 more hours while the others are sleeping, which would tell me then
Short rest.
channel heal. Channel.
Yeah, just channel heal, take a short rest for an hour, and there we go.
Would 64 hit points bring you up?
Yes.
Alright, do that. Because that would be once and a half. Probably third. Yeah, it's fine.
Do that short rest. Done.
Yep. Because he can only heal up to half of his health with that.
Because you only need so many hours anyway, because your elfishness.
It's only an hour to get one short rest.
No, that's what I mean. You have that.
Which means you're going to finish your short rest still before Liam's awake.
Liam is snoring. Hugging whatever potato sack that Yesh put instead of the badger.
Don't worry, the badgers. Come on, badgers, you need to crawl back into his room now.
Is there any lingering effect from the purple worm?
Nope. It is just Purple Worms just try to fucking kill you. They're assholes like that.
I mean, that's fine. I just
You
wanted...
want to say for half.
Just wanted to make sure that I didn't have to restore him. That's all.
Also because I
It's
didn't
a
say
very
it yet.
popular poison amongst drow nobles.
Because I didn't say it yet. I should have chosen a green Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
It would have been so effective at this point.
Yeah.
Lots of poison damage.
As it turns out, in the Underdark, there's a lot of poison.
Yeah, lots of poison. Not too
I
much.
mean,
Not much.
a lot less answer than I expected.
Mostly oozes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of got rid of those.
Like a lot, like if lightning was resistant, I thought it would have been worse.
There were a lot of oozes at one point. I miss those days. Oozes are simple.
So I do wonder what the level 20. I do wonder like what like. Remember that we had that fight over there where we had the with the troll and there was like a demon there from the Demogorgon. I remember wondering what would it be if Jubilex was the most powerful one at that point, sitting there instead. Or, like what ooze would be?
He's a big ooze.
But like what flavor of ooze could be that challenge?
King ooze.
Strawberry.
Strawberry ooze?
You want it, but it's so deadly.
Is it gonna be like make charisma or make wisdom save or eat the ooze?
Swallow it.
It's so dangerous, but so tasty.
So it seems now next time we can all go to the stair and have an hour to get this book.
Yep.
And it'll be terrible. Terrifying.
Sounds great.
Can't be worse than teenagers with daggers.
No, can't. Freaking teenagers.
Walking that fine line between getting stepped again. Sounded like at one point you were ready to stand up to them.
It's going to be a rich teenager because that venom is very pricey.
It's gonna be a mad, angry dad.
Well, you probably couldn't possibly attack Gesh because he's working for the ruling house now, so wouldn't dare touch him.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
the dad wouldn't be angry at Gash because Gash literally didn't do anything. It was his daughter who
No,
wasted
that's not how it
poison on
works.
a commoner.
She's the
Yes.
noble.
Like a
She wants to stab
10,000
Gash.
gold
She's
poison.
full right to stab Gash.
Well, she
Gash
did.
should have let himself be bullied more easily.
But
That is
he,
the right
you
way to do
know,
it here.
that's the problem here is that she used a very pricey dagger to do it. You know, that's the.
Exactly. Really, Gish could be flayed so that he can get whatever money he spent, putting in him, get that back. But if he gets conscripted,
You remember that Gesh is very old, so I don't think the skin is worth much.
He is still Grandpa Gesh.
Yeah.
anything as a return investment. That's his right, after all. But if Gesh is conscripted by the matriarch, which, asking at least around a little bit, learn that foreigners who are not slaves or other non-drow creatures have been conscripted by the matriarch to be sent to do things to deal with this demon problem that the Underdark has.
So technically, I am working for the ruling house and even
If
doing
you do
the
not
things
show
they
up,
want me
Halld,
to.
you will be enslaved instead.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, really, if they catch us from this point on, we're all gonna die.
That's the
So
least of our worries. Yeah. Well, he could show up and charm her and then marry her and then imagine.
pull a Raphael.
That's certainly a way to undermine their power.
I suppose so.
My first instinct, this Drow guy we're with though right now, my first instinct was, is he Drow Raphael?
I mean, there is an
Jarl
archetype.
Axel, yes. I mean, I used a portrait of his when we infiltrated the Drow City.
Yeah, he did.
That was
Just,
the Jarl Axel's portrait I used.
I have no idea about this guy, but
Oh, he's great. He's one of those legendary characters.
I mean, you're in
Or is it one of
Drizzt
those
old
legendary
house.
characters?
Yeah, it's Duerden, so Drizzt Duerden's old house will hang out, and then the Archmage we're working for is a Devere, which is another famous family from Baldur's Gate. So.
Turns out Drow live long enough that they can stick around in lore for fucking ever.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sheep.
Mm.
Thank you for making the tail end of this session so entertaining.
Thank you for getting stabbed.
It was a pretty good stab.
I mean, it wouldn't have required the stabbing to be entertaining, just it did add to the entertainment.
Not throwing yourself on the ground would probably have killed you.
Yeah. It should have.
How much XP do we get, if any?
Yes.
Not
You
enough.
get.
I feel like
I've already added it to the total, but it is 1,500 per character
Alright.
for allying with Relaxol.
1,500 per character.
Putting you to
Just over
116,950, which means you're 3,050 away.
Yay.
I'm just saying, we're coming up to the final boss fight, right? We have to grind every last bit of XP we can get.
Mm.
No, we'll see how much you get next session.
Well, on that, I'm going to stop the recording on the stream. Because it is late.
It is
What level are we currently?
12.
Well, I'm just 8 still.
Oh, oof.
Oh.
I mean, if you were level 8 and you spied that poison, kudos.
So,
Means I got
thanks
7 levels.
for the session, everybody. I'm going to stop the recording on the stream. So, thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.